What's up, Tron1731, and what's up, Clayton? How's it going, guys? We are back in business. And just whilst I wait for a few more people to jump on the stream, before we look at this Orion D5000, I am going to play a track by my good friend who is called Joel, and he goes by the name of Le Lion, and he produces phenomenal dubstep. Like, not the shit dubstep that you hear a lot these days. He produces top quality, old school style, fantastic dubstep, and I want to play you a track while I wait for some more people to jump on the stream, and then I'll be repairing this Orion D5000. Very fucking nice, very fucking nice. So, Clayton says, what resistors do you use to test your amplifiers you fix? What ohm rating are they? So, these are the resistors that I use, my friend, for bench testing amplifiers once I've repaired them. They are very simple, basic dummy loads from China, from eBay China. And they are, each one, I've got 4 of these things. Each one is 1000 watt, 4 ohm. So I've got 4 of these 4 ohm dummy loads, and they all parallel together to give me a 1 ohm load, which is 4000 watts continuous stress testing. But to be fair, the fact that they are 1000 watts continuous will allow me to bench test, will allow me to pulse test those at like 4000 watts each. You know, they'll take a pulse, they'll take a sudden surge of about 4000 watts each. So I've got more than enough power handling here and resistors to bench test pretty much any amp I throw at them. How's it going, guys? 13 guys on the stream. Sup? So we're just going to wait for a couple more people to jump on, and we're going to start looking at this Orion D5000. This is quite a nice amplifier. These are fucking great amplifiers. Really nice amplifiers. So this amplifier has a sticker on it that says turns on, no outputs, but unable to fully test. Okay. So the fact that this thing turns on means that we can pretty much go ahead and attach our power supply straight to it without the risk of any problems. H1 Nicholas! Yeah, buddy! It's always a good day when H1 Nicholas jumps on my stream. It means I'm going to get some shit done. Nicholas, we repaired 2 things so far today on my live streams. We repaired 2 things so far today on my live streams. So I'm having a good day today. And as a result of having a good day, I've had a couple of beers. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, they looks like they're called braking resistors. Okay, no worries. There was on eBay. There was an option to get a singular 5,000 watt rated 1 ohm resistor, but having 4 separate here, 4 ohm ones, actually gives you more heat sinking. So the fact that I've got 4 separated here, the heat is dissipated more evenly, and I've got actually more heat sink mass by having 4 separate ones as opposed to one single 1 ohm 5,000 watt one. So that works better for me. So far today we have fixed a Rockford Fosgate 4-channel, which is this bad boy here, which is a Prime R300-4, and that had a dead TL494. What? Who would think it? Out of all the things to die, a dead TL494. Very uncommon, but we probed pin 5, which has the sawtooth wave on there, and the sawtooth wave looked horrific, looked very bad, and it was way up, far too, the frequency was far too high. It was like pretty much as fast as the chip could possibly manage. We had no output on the pins 9 and 10, had like really noisy, just no square waves output, so that was no good at all. So we replaced the 494, we replaced the gate resistors, and we replaced the power supply FETs, and thing works. Also repaired an atomic 7,000 watts RMS, an atomic 7K. Finished the repair on that earlier on today, which is all good. So we're going to start looking at this amplifier then. It may not actually be as complex as I envisioned. Because if this amplifier goes down in a bad way, usually the PIC dies, the PIC, Programmable IC, Programmable Integrated Circuit. This has got some nasty spider webs in here, like some spiders have been creeping around here like, yo, what's up? And if the Programmable IC dies, then you're kind of screwed. But the fact that this thing apparently turns on, according to my little sticker here, means that we might be able to make a repair. Okay, so let's put some power into this bad boy then and see what we got going on. See why this thing isn't outputting any audio according to the sticker on the front. Martina said, I missed you, my friend. I missed you too, buddy. I missed you too. It's good to have you back on the stream. Good to have you back on the stream. I'm hoping this one's gonna work. You know, the amount of amplifiers that I get in the workshop that just work, that there's nothing wrong with, is actually quite high, considering, like, you know, you would have thought most people would test these things properly, but apparently not. PIC like a Taramps. Yes, PIC like a Taramps. That can be fixed, says H1 Nicholas. If you can fix one of these amplifiers with a dead PIC, then fuck me, man. You are my new best friend. So how would you go about fixing it? Because the PICs for these amplifiers are no longer available. So if you've got one of these amps with a dead PIC, then you need to, well, the only way to get around it so far that I've seen, Gordon the Amp Doctor, he has bypassed the PIC a few times. So, you know, he's installed a small standard kind of, probably a TL494 style setup, and, you know, a more standard kind of drive circuit and what have you. But if we can fix one of these with a dead PIC, then that is good stuff. That is good. But to be fair though, I think this one, the PIC is probably going to be okay, because the customer has put a sticker on the front that says turns on but no sound output. So if the PIC was dead, I don't think the thing would come on, which is the usual culprit. Usually it doesn't come on if the PIC is dead. Fucking hell! H1 Nicholas can program a PIC! Fucking hell! That's some fucking good stuff there, man. That's some useful... That is a useful person to know. Somebody that can program a PIC is a useful person to know. You know, maybe you could teach me how to do that. Maybe you could teach me how to do that. But my next question would be, though, is how the fuck do we know what Orion would have programmed the PIC to do? Like, how complex is that? Because I'm not going to lie, that's way above my head at this point in time. I've only been doing this for a year now, and programming PICs is a fucking different language to me at this time. I would love to learn it, and I probably will, but at this time, it's fucking, you know, another language. What's up, people? What's up? So, this amplifier claims to turn on but have no output. Let's find out if that is the case. So let's go to turn it on and see what happens. H1 Nicholas usually used to drive the power supply stage and amp output stage and sync the waveform. They also include all the protections in it. It also has a soft start. That makes sense to me. Only 4 likes? Who the hell hasn't hit the like button on Sam? Get on it. Cheers, buddy. I don't mind the small likes. I don't mind not having a huge amount of likes on my videos. It's all about the comments. The comments are the main thing that I like. I like to see what people's opinions are of what I've shown them, and you know, to people let me know that I've helped them out or not. Okay. So this has a switch which is called copy or gain or master. Okay. So we want this. We don't want this on copy. We want this on master, I think. I'll have to check. I haven't really used a lot of these amplifiers. How much power does she produce? This bad boy here it claims to do 2,500 watts RMS, but in reality it's underrated, and these bad boys actually put out around about 3,000 or 3,200 watts RMS at about 5% THD. They're pretty decent, you know. These are one of the best amplifiers, one of the best designed amplifiers around for their time. Or Orion D5000. Fucking good amplifiers. Very good amplifiers. Everything's on driver boards. So, why does it not output any audio? There's a switch on the side here which was set to copy. It was set to copy, and I believe that maybe some kind of switch which is like a slave mode switch. So let's see whether that's the case, because I've now just switched it to master. I'm going to put it onto full frequency pass. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. We're going to turn the high pass off. Just turn all the filtering off so I can get this thing fired up on the bench. See what's going on. And our phase knob, interestingly, our phase knob has been damaged. Our phase switch, has been damaged, which could cause this amplifier not to work. So if we have a look on here, you can see here we have a switch in here which is for phase. Ooh. The case is electrified. That's not good. Why is the case electrified? Interesting. The case shouldn't, like, you know when you're charging your phone and you can feel that you're charging your phone if it's made of metal? The case shouldn't be doing that. I wonder why the case is doing that. So let's just see whether we've got a power supply MOSFET shorting to ground here, shorting to the case ground, because I can feel some power on here. Oh no, that's gone away. Now that I've grounded the amp, that's actually gone away. Oh yeah, there was a bit of a spike there on the scope. No, there was a bit of a spike on the scope there when I touched the case ground. Look, check this out, right? If I remove the ground for the power supply, right? The case feels like it's vibrating a little bit, right? If I then put the ground on and I probe it, watch the scope. Boom! Has some voltage on it. So the only reason that the case would have some voltage on it is if is if something is touching the case ground. Interesting. Interesting. I've not come across that yet on a car amp where the case vibrates like that. Let's have a quick look at the live chat. Jib a lot says, I think you kick ass on broken amps. Cheers, buddy. I try my best. It's very funny, since I've been live streaming we've had some bad luck, but today has been pretty lucky. Today's been pretty good. Audio amplifier servicing. You can buy a PIC programmer as long as the manufacturer has not enabled the read protection flag. You'd be able to read and upload the code from a working PIC and then program a new blank PIC. Holy fucking shit, that's amazing. Now that is the kind of information that I want to see in the live chat. Audio amplifier servicing, thank you very much, buddy. Massively appreciated. That is a wicked, wicked bit of information. So, if I can get my hands on a working Orion D5000 or D2400, which are the most common ones where the PICs die, and if I get this PIC programmer equipment that audio amplifier servicing is talking about, then I could upload the code from the working PIC, store it, and then program some blank PICs with that code, and then either use them myself in the workshop for Orion amplifiers that come in, or even better, potentially sell them to other amplifier technicians around the world who need them. H1 Nicholas says they usually do use the protect code. Nah, that's a bugger. That's a bugger. Tom says, throw us a bone and lend us some insight on how the new Alpine mono amps work with their impedance sensing and power cutting. Good question. I think I haven't looked at and I haven't had on the bench any of the newer Alpine amplifiers yet, but I believe they'll probably work in a similar way to the JL Audio, where it it produces the same power at like 1, 2 and 4 ohms. And what it is the rail voltage is actually high. So the rail voltage is high enough to provide the power at 4 ohms, right? So this amplifier, the JL 500/1, it has sufficient rail voltage to produce 500 watts RMS at 4 ohms. Okay. However, if you were to run the amplifier at 2 ohms, rather than most amplifiers still providing the same rail voltage, and that will then be forced to produce the current required for a 2 ohm load, what the JL does is it has a current sensing circuit, so that when it detects that excessive current is being drawn over and above the 4 ohm load, then what it does, it clips clips the amplifier earlier than it would do at 4 ohm, to prevent the FETs being overloaded by current and power, and the same for 1 ohm. So this is just, I don't know for sure. I haven't studied the schematic properly for the JL 500/1. So if anyone knows exactly how the JL 500/1 works, then I believe that you should let me know. But just from looking at the amplifier, looking at the circuit, and from monitoring it during bench testing, it seems that it's limiting the current on the FETs when you run it at 2 ohms and 1 ohm, whereas at 4 ohm it's pretty much as intended, with the audio wave reaching the full rail voltage, whereas at 2 ohm and 1 ohm the audio wave doesn't reach the full rail voltage, but you get a bit more current from the FETs as a result. Matt says no notification, but I'm here. I don't understand how the YouTube notification algorithm works, so that's a bit annoying. Okay, so let's get cracking then with this. We've got enough viewers now. So this is the Orion D5000, and I had a little sticker on the front, which I've now screwed up. When I got this in, this had a small sticker on the front that said, turns on, but no output. Okay, so apparently this thing turns on, but it has no output. There's a switch on the side of this amplifier that was set to copy. So this is a 3-way switch that says copy on one, gain on the other, and master on the other. So I imagine this has been accidentally set to copy, which is maybe like a slave bridge mode, a slave strap mode. So I'm hoping that this thing is going to actually just work, and it was just on the wrong setting, because that will be very good for me, because I don't particularly want to get involved with repairing one of these, because they're a bit of a nightmare. So 9.4 volts of remote. Will 9 volts power up the Orion? We have it in protection at the moment, so 9... Oh, wait. Relay clicked in there. Oh, power. No, sorry. The red light on these Orions is actually power and not protect. So we have power and the relay has clicked in. So we have operation. Let's see. Do we have an output switch wave? Yes, sir, we do. And so this amplifier is producing the output. The output switch wave is present. We've got a high side drive. This amplifier is using an older Class D version of Class D. So we have a high side switch drive wave, which we can see here if we turn our scope to AC coupling. So this is our high side drive wave. This is our main drive wave, output drive wave. And can we see our low side drive wave? That's our high side again, and our low side is going to be over this side here, and that's our low side drive wave. So the amplifier's output section is working. Although it does keep turning off. I think that's because I'm running on 9 volts here. Yeah, so the amplifier's output section is working and all that stuff. So apparently, according to the sticker, is that it doesn't produce audio. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our RCAs. We're going to take our RCAs from our signal generator up here, and we're going to play a 50 Hertz sine wave through it and see whether we get a 50 Hertz sine wave on the outputs. This is going to be a boring live stream if this works, isn't it? But it's going to be a good day for me, because I do not want to repair one of these bad boys just yet. Clayton says, I bet this amplifier will power up and work. Yes, probably, hopefully. Last time I had an amp power normally with no output was a Taramps. And it was one of the output filters broke off the board. Yeah, that's very common. Yeah, that's very, very common. One of the output filters, they snap off the amplifiers if you mount the amplifier to the box or somewhere that vibrates. Another amplifier that suffers from this issue is the Pioneer. I think it's a 9601 or something. It says 2,400 watts on the front, and it does about 1,200 watts RMS. Actually benches about 1,350, so it's underrated. Those Pioneer amps are pretty good, but if you mount it to the box, expect the output inductor to snap off the board at some point in its life. So we've now got a 50 Hertz sine wave on the signal generator, and we're going to put that into the amp. I'm just going to turn the gain down a little bit to ensure that we're not clipping it. So let's put that to 0 dB. Let's see what we've got on the output. Turn my scope up a little bit so we can see an audio wave, and turn it to high frequency reject high frequency. I'm going to reject you, my high frequency. Put our probe on the speaker output. Turn the amplifier on again. Okay. So amplifier appears to be in operation now again. We have, see there, we have fucking loads of output switch, and that's our high side drive. So let's go back to here, turn it off of AC coupling just a sec. So if we probe the speaker output, we can see here that the positive speaker output has nothing on it. And we are currently driving a 50 Hertz sine wave into the amplifier. We are currently driving a 50 Hertz sine wave into the amplifier. And we can see that if we probe the input here. You see this? We have a 50 Hertz sine wave going into the amplifier, just like this. So, if we have a 50 Hertz sine wave going into the amplifier, why don't we have a 50 Hertz sine wave coming out of the amplifier? One of the most common reasons for this is actually the switches and the knobs on the amplifier. They corrode over time. And what's up, Darth Imiters? What's up, homie? I'm vaping on some Bluebird watching this Shears. Yo! Tell me how that Bluebird tastes, buddy. I've had a few beers, and we're working on a Orion D5000. So yeah, one of the most common issues here is actually these switches, and they can corrode and they don't make a nice connection to the board. So we're just going to have a little play around with a couple of these switches and see whether we can get this amp to actually output some audio. So we're currently on master mode. So if we now switch it over to gain mode, does that make a difference? No, it's still showing nothing on the screen. If we put it over to copy, that doesn't make a difference either. Let's put it back to master, because I imagine that's probably where we should be at. So let's now fiddle about with some of the low pass frequency knobs and see whether any of these switches cause the amplifier to start working. Nope, nothing there. Let's turn the high pass filter on and off. Does anything happen there? Nope, doesn't seem to happen there. So none of these switches are making a difference to making this amplifier start working. Low frequency pass, filter Q, nope, nope, nope. Aha! Aha! That's our issue. So remember the phase switch that I showed you earlier. If you weren't following me then earlier, I showed you a phase switch. So look over here on the input section. There's a little wee switch here, okay? And this switch has been snapped off the board. It was like snap the fuck off the board. So there's no switch coming out of the amplifier here for the phase to switch between 180 and 0 degrees. And it seems that the fact that that switch has snapped off, the contacts have been damaged, and it's preventing the audio signal from reaching the outputs. So when I probed it with my proby probe just now, we saw that when the metal made a contact just in there, the amplifier actually started to output some audio. So the problem with this amplifier is not the output section, not the power supply section, not the dodgy ass PIC, it's the phase switch. So all we need to do is either replace the phase switch if we can find a replacement that fits, or we can just jump over the pads, because who the fuck uses the phase switch anyway? Darth Imiter says it's fucking delish. Awesome. I'm blowing through some 70 mil a day, so it's wow, damn. 10-cent part brought the amplifier down. Indeed it did. This amplifier makes no bass, and it's just a teeny weeny tiny whiny little switch on the preamp board. Now frustratingly, to get to this switch, we're going to take the whole flipping thing apart. Like literally, we've got to take the whole flipping thing apart to get to that switch. All the screws, all the clamps, everything's got to come out. And that is the most time-consuming part of this repair. How annoying is that? Very annoying, very annoying. I don't think there's a way around that. I don't think I can actually get around having to take all this crap out to get to that switch, to get to that solder patch from the bottom. I could possibly jump it over from the top of the board. Nah, fuck it. We're gonna replace it. We're gonna do the good thing, and we're gonna replace the switch properly. I think I do have some spares of that switch lying around somewhere. So let's start taking the amp apart. How's everyone doing this evening? How's everyone doing this evening? Take the end off and see if you can get to it. Okay, good plan. Let's take the end off and see if I can get to it with my small soldering tips. My small solder tips. I might be able to get to it without having to take the whole fucking amp apart. Let's see whether I can. Watch out, profanity! Screw gun, says Jibbalot. Screw gun? Ah, do you mean like an electric screwdriver? Yeah, I do use one of those, but the thing is I don't like using an electric screwdriver to do the screws on the amplifier back up, because I need to be able to feel where the threads are, because if I cross thread on the aluminium heatsink, then it's an absolute nightmare to rectify the issue. So I much prefer to do the screws back up by hand, and as a result of preferring to do the screws back up by hand, I tend to also undo the screws by hand just by nature. So Clayton says it will save me a few hours. That is very true. If I can get to the switch just by taking the end plate off, that will probably save me a good hour. because I think it'll probably take me about half an hour to get this shit out the case. Audio amplifier servicing, yeah man. I did used to use an electric screwdriver, but I will only ever use an electric screwdriver to take the amplifier apart. I do not want to use an electric screwdriver to put the amplifier back together, especially when I am screwing the heatsink clamps back in place, because it's very easy to cross thread those on the aluminium, and I need to be able to feel for a very easy screw path. I need to be able to feel for the original thread, because the aluminium is so soft on a lot of these heat sinks. If you cross thread it, then the thing will just be a nightmare, and sometimes it just ends up spinning in the hole. And these clamps need to make a really solid connection. They need to push these MOSFETs onto the heatsink as hard as possible, so that the heat dissipation is maximized. Holy crap! There is many spider webs in here. Many spiders have made their home in this amplifier. This has been sat in a garage for a while, or something. How's it going, Jesse? Jesse is our female viewer. Probably our. Are you kidding me? This is gross. What the fuck? This is janky as fuck. Oh man. I think, you know what? I think we should actually take this amp out anyway and give it a good clean, because there's some spider nests going on. There's some, like, you know, there's some the skin that, like, baby spiders and flies like live in when they're a kid, like the larva, fucking the skin, the whatever you call it. There's some of that shit in there. So, to be perfectly honest, I think we should really be taking this thing apart and giving it a good old clean inside, because that's nasty. How was your cigarette break, Jesse? And how was the rest of your work day? You had to stay late, didn't you? That sucks, man. I hope you got paid extra for that. I've had a few beers and I'm feeling good. We've repaired 2 things today, and our third main repair for this evening is a pretty simple one. It's just a teeny tiny little switch on the preamp section. If you've just joined us, like Jesse has, then this is an Orion D5000. This is a very good amplifier, nice design, kind of old school now, but very good for its time and still holds its stuff in today's day and age. And these can be a nightmare to repair, because the PIC, the programmable IC, which controls the majority of this amplifier, can die. And if it dies, then as H1 Nicholas and as Audio Amplifier, what's that guy's name? Audio Amplifier Servicing in the comments has suggested, it can be a headache to repair, but we can get a new PIC programmed. But that is a lengthy process, and it's not something you can do with a soldering iron, which is what I do. So I'm quite glad that this amplifier doesn't have any circuit issues as such. It's just a physical thing with a switch, which is causing this amplifier not to produce any audio on output, but it does switch on. So that makes me very happy. Jesse is sitting at the laundromat. A good time to catch up on a good old beverage live stream. How was work in the end, Jesse? How'd it go? These kind of clamps are not my favourite. You see these mostly in old amplifiers. You don't really see this in new amplifiers. Work was stressful. Oh, that's not good to hear. That's not good to hear. I'm sorry to hear that. Jesse, get one of those washers that hooks up to your sink. That's what I do. Then I hang the clothes up on the drying rack in my living room. Ghetto but effective. And Jesse says I would do. I would do, but my apartment sucks to do what I want. Work was stressful. What does everybody do here as a day job? Let me know, man. Let me know. I'm really interested. What does everyone do? How does everyone contribute to this world going round? What does everybody do? So obviously audio amplifier servicing probably services audio amplifiers. And H1 Nicholas builds power supplies and all sorts of other wicked stuff in electronics, which is why he's so good at helping me out on these live streams. But what does everybody else do? Giblot says, "Is that an old school amp?" Yeah, it's pretty old school. It's not as old school as like proper old school, but it's, you know, it's one of the earlier decent Class Ds, like mid 2000s, I reckon. I can't remember when the D5000 came out. Jesse says, "I'm a supervisor where I work, and I had a few calls to handle." Ah man, being the supervisor, you get all the shit. You get all the shit where the customer's like, "I want to speak to the manager," and then you gotta step your ass forward. You gotta take the shit that comes out their mouth, and you gotta decide whether you're just gonna be like, "Ah, fucking hell, let's just make this customer happy," or whether you're gonna stand your ground because the customer's always right. Bullshit. The customer is always fucking retarded, and you got to decide whether you're going to just make them happy so that they leave feeling positive and have a positive reflection on your services, or if you stand your ground, and especially if it's going to cost you a bit of money to sort out their issue. And that is a decision that you got to make. That's a decision that you got to make. And everyone gets pissy at supervisors, but at the end of the day, it's usually not the supervisor's fault. Or it's not the supervisor's decision anyway. People think when they say I want to speak to the manager and they speak to the manager, they think they're speaking to the fucking owner of the company or the store or whatever. It's like, no. Even the supervisor probably doesn't make the main decisions around here that has actually caused you to get your ass up in flames about whatever it is. This is why whenever I'm in the store and something don't go my way, I will let them know. I will say, you know, I feel that this could have been handled better. I realise that it's nothing to do with you as such, unless it is, of course, something to do with them. If the member of staff has actually done something wrong, then I'll say, you know, for next time, do this differently, and you know that might be better for the customer. But at the end of the day, there's no point shouting and losing your shit, because you're just shouting and losing your shit at someone just like you, who's just working in a store, working at a company, trying to pay their bills. What else? What other jobs have we got up in here? What other jobs have we got up in here? We've got I work with flight operations for unmanned aircraft. Fuck, that's cool. Mitchell, man, Mitchell Roberts, that's pretty cool. That's fucking cool. That's not something you hear every day. So Mitchell Roberts, what constitutes as a bad day at work for you? What goes wrong at work for you and it's a bad day? I'm intrigued. There's a fucking spider skin in here still. What else we got? TIG welder, aluminium, says Tommy. Carpenter, says Jib. Mains, so we got carpenter, TIG welder, so some manual stuff. Mains, auto electrical. Power wash, semi trucks, so we've got some manual stuff up in here. Auto mechanic again. Architect, manager of a firm, says SDB Designs. That's fucking cool. That's really cool. Nice one, man. You've obviously worked your way up to that. Tommy says my machine needs a tune-up. Okay. Hello, Fly Guy. Hello, Olaf. I used to design and assemble and sell high-end amplifiers in Brazil, says Carlos. Oh, wow. Awesome. I knew Carlos had something to do with amplifiers because he's very helpful on the stream. Was that Carlos? Did you? Oh fuck, Carlos. Did you used to work on home audio amplifiers or car amplifiers, my friend? Well, if it's high end, it's going to be home or something, isn't it? Because let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Car amplifiers, in the grand scheme of things, get laughed at by the majority of proper home and pro audio equipment manufacturers. What else we got up in here? Jesse says I got that right. Okay. I'm glad I got something right. I've got a few things right this evening, which is why my repairs have gone nicely, which is why I've had a few beers. Air conditioning repair, HVAC contractor. I'm a student currently, going to be a teacher upon graduation, says Chris. Going to be a teacher! Teaching is awesome! Teaching is awesome, my friend. And I'm sure you'll be a great teacher. I would love to be a teacher, but I don't have the patience to do them. Like, I'd love to be a teacher, but I don't know what I'd teach. Like, I want to teach this shit, which is why I made a flipping YouTube channel about it. So I guess I am a teacher in some sense. A teacher with very limited experience. I'd say what I don't see myself as a teacher. I kind of feel like with my YouTube channel, I've obviously only been doing this for a year, but I kind of feel like we're learning together. So I've done this for a year, but I'm kind of using myself as an experimentation kind of catalyst for your own learning, I guess. Condition repair, UPS mailman. Question. Wait, hang on. Why has my chat jumped? UPS mailman. Question. What's the difference between red, blue, and green PCB? Well, the red and the blue and green PCB, they're all different colors because the dye which is used is of a different hue and is come from different chemicals. So different chemicals will create different colors when the PCB is being manufactured, and it depends on the manufacturer what color they decide they want the PCB to be. Yeah, different chemical makeups in dye and in different materials will cause the material to be a different color. I'm being slightly sarcastic now. I don't know. I don't think there's any difference. I think it's just I think it's just wherever the fucking PCB is being produced and what color they've decided to make it. Welding cop car cages. Nice. That's pretty cool. All kinds of electronic repair, says Cal Too Big. Repair, test, and prototype builds. Used to have my own audio repair shop. Oh wow, fantastic. So you probably know a bit more than I do. So you'll probably be fantastically helpful. Audio amplifier repair said started repairing radios, TVs back in 1978. Wow. Then trained in electronics when leaving school in 1982. That's brilliant. That's fucking crazy. So you've got a whole ton of experience. You've got way more experience than the majority of people here will do. So I am only 26 years old. So you started repairing radios and TVs like flipping 13 years before I was born. That's insane. Fantastic to have you on the stream, Audio Repair Servicing. Thank you for joining in and lending us your experience and knowledge. What amp is that? This is a Orion D5000. Mechanic or a graphic designer for a fish food company. Matt's a graphic designer for a fish food company. I wouldn't have guessed that for sure. That's a really random one. You know, if you say, oh, guess what job I have, la la la, it's not an everyday job you have, designing graphics for a fish food company. But that's pretty cool. You know, that's you know, it's not okay. So your job is not necessarily anything to do with fish food, but it's the designing stage. It's the whole graphic, the artistic side, flair of that. We make the best fish food in the world and are trademarked as such. If I ever get a fish tank, I'll come to you, my man. Sam, you explained everything dead on. Some days can be stressful, even in the customer service field. Yeah, I used to work in customer service. I used to work a lot of jobs in customer service. I've done a lot of customer service jobs in all sorts of different paths. Like I did housing benefits and council tax customer service. So in America, I don't know what the hell you have for for sort of benefits in a sense, you know, welfare, I guess you call it in the States. So I worked in a welfare office, I guess is what it's called, and so I have met all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life. And I did that job when I was 17 years old. I did it for about 1.5 or 2 years, and so I learnt my customer service skills from working in a welfare office, and it was very interesting. Man, we had some experiences and funny stories from that job. La 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 la. CATV lineman and system tech here. Work out of bucket trucks on overhead lines. That sounds scary. Splicing and troubleshooting system power issues. So we've got another problem solver here, Tom. Fantastic, good to hear, man. That's wicked. Pissed off clients piss me off. I am cringy because my friend said so. Sup peeps? Ah, nice to see you, friend. I've not seen you on the live chat before. Transferred from domestic electronics to industrial electronics. Nice. Carlos says power amplifiers without preamplifiers only, just a volume knob. Very nice. That sounds quite high end for sure. Proper amplifiers will not have a preamplifier section because they'll expect you to use a separate preamplifier, which is the correct way to do it. La la la. Good night, amplifier guy. Says electronic artist. Good night. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're disappearing from my live stream or if you've just arrived. I'm going to be a speaker installer. Says I am cringy because my friend said so. Good on you, buddy. Good on you. Jesse says you have great knowledge. I don't know about that. I just blag my way through life. Many thanks from the compliment, Bearvids. I hope you teach. I hope I can teach as well as you do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have created a great forum, sharing knowledge and experience. That's the plan. That's what I plan to do here. I have not created this to share my knowledge because my knowledge is quite limited. I've only been doing this for 1 year, so I planned to get a lot of people on board who know a lot more than me, so we can all put our knowledge together and solve problems together and use what I'm doing here as a catalyst for that. Rowan Lloyd says, why did you skip straight past me? Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry, buddy. What did you say? Rowan builds systems with Sony Export. Oh yeah, so Rowan builds systems with Sony Export 8. They can drop to 25 Hz with tang bands, 3.5 can drop to 30 Hz low, but in all seriousness, I'm exempt from work and registered disabled due to being autistic. Oh, no worries. Yeah, I see it. Rowan is one of my oldest audio friends. Goes back way back, and when I first met Rowan, he knew a lot more about audio than I did. We were like 12 or 13 years old, and when YouTube was first starting up and I first ever created my channel and I was posting all sorts of bullshit videos, Rowan was up in there and we were talking about Logitech for many years, and he helped me out a lot, and I've probably helped him out a bit as well. So yeah, he's one of my longest audio mates. Holy crap, the live chat is blowing up. I ain't even got started on taking this amplifier apart yet. The live chat is just blowing up. Live chat is blowing up. I'm thinking maybe how thick copper was. Maybe. I'm designing power amplifiers since 1962. Holy fucking crap. We've got some proper old boys on here, some proper experienced guys on here. So yeah, anyone in the comments, if you've got questions and you get an answer from Carlos or from H1 Nicholas or from Audio Amplifier Servicing, then listen to their advice. It is probably far better than any advice I'll be able to give at this point. This guy with a name that I can't read because it's in a different alphabet says, hi, I am a technical D-class amplifier from Thailand. Yeah, boy, how's it going, my friend? Good to have you on the stream. Class D is my favorite, probably because I have the most experience in Class D, because that's what I've worked on the most. I think everyone should customer service or entry-level jobs to learn respect from the person behind the counter. I agree. I think everyone should work in some form of customer service at one point in their life, especially in a job where the customer service agent is generally going to be receiving some bullshit some of the time. So welfare officer, for example, is one of those. Funniest thing is I don't give a shit about fish or even like the twang things. That's hilarious. So you're designing graphics for something. That's hilarious. Seth gives me $2 for a year into it. You are a genius. Thank you very much, my friend. Cheers. Thank you for the $2. That is incredibly generous for you. For you to give me. Thank you very much, buddy. I just see a problem and I try and work out what the issue is. Yeah. I wish I could repair an amplifier like you. Well, if you watch some of my stuff and you see my fuck ups and you learn from my fuck ups, then I'm sure you'll probably be better than me one day. Okay, we finally reached the bottom of the live chat, so we can continue taking this thing out the board. We can continue taking this thing out the board. So we are, for anyone who has just joined us, because I've been rambling for flipping ages on the live chat, this is a Orion D5000, and it came in with a sticker on it that said, turns on but outputs no audio. So turns on and outputs no audio means that we can fire this thing up on a small power supply and find out why it's not outputting audio. And the reason that it's not outputting audio, we have found a small switch over here, which is the phase switch, that the user can switch between 180 degrees and 0 degrees for the subwoofer output. And that switch has been snapped off. You can see that there's no plastic switch on there, and so the contacts in the switch are gone. They're toast. So what happens is the audio comes in to the RCAs, it goes through a bunch of OP amps here, and it goes through these switches, etc., these potentiometers to set the low pass filter, the gain, the high pass, etc., etc. And it also goes through this phase switch, and the fact that this phase switch is damaged means that the audio isn't getting past this point. The audio comes into the amplifier, goes it gets to this switch over here and stops. So that's why we had no output on the end of the amplifier over here. So we need to replace that switch. Tron says, I rebuild all the blown amps for all my basshead friends on the side for fun. That's fantastic. Yeah, man. I find repairing incredibly fun. I find it a really good fun. So I don't feel like this is, you know, super hard work. Yes, I get amplifiers that are a headache sometimes, but I do like a challenge, and the amplifiers that are the biggest headaches, I always find I learn the most from. So when I get an amplifier that's a headache, rather than being like, ah, fucking hell, guys, you know, rather than getting really head up about it, I see it as an opportunity to learn something new that I don't already know. If an amplifier is a headache and it's not being repaired easily, then I use that as an opportunity to learn, and I will keep at it, even if it's costing me far too much money. If I'm really struggling to repair an amplifier, I don't like to give up on it, even though it's costing me many hours. I'll put it to one side, I'll come back to it with a fresh head. Because if I can then repair it, then I know for next time what the issue was, and I can expand my knowledge. So don't give up, because giving up is just limiting your learning ability. Ah, that's gross. Oh, this has been stored in some janky. I tell you what, cobwebs give me the flipping creeps, guys. Cobwebs give me the heebie-jeebies, man. Ah, that's janky as fuck. We've got all sorts of old spiders in here, old spider skin and other nasty shit. Ugh. Let's get rid of that. Bye bye. Oh man, this is actually making me feel slightly nauseous. I hate this shit. I hate old spider webs. Ugh. Look at just listen to the sound it makes as well. Get out of here. Eek. Eek. I'm glad I took this thing out the board. I'm glad I took this thing out the board, because this needs a right clean up. It's very nice when it's just a simple switch to fix. Yes, you're right. It's very nice when it's just a simple switch to fix. Especially with this amplifier, because I don't like... okay, so even if the PIC was dead, we can probably get it up and running again with H1 Nicholas's help and some other experienced guys on the live chat. But I would rather not have to go down that route if I can avoid it. So the fact that this is only a simple switch is making me happy. Rowan says, no offense to Sam, but 65 watching and nearly 25,000 subscribed. What do you mean, buddy? Oh, Tom, over here. 65 watching and only 29 likes. Come on, people, hit the like button. I don't mind, I don't care for likes too much. I'm more interested in the comments, I'm more interested in the live chat. I just want to get a little community thing going on here. I don't mind if you don't hit the like button. That's not important to me. There's a spider on my shoulder. No way. Hey, has anybody seen the new animated series on YouTube called Lucas the Spider? Focus. Yeah, if you haven't seen that on YouTube yet, I recommend watching that. It's a very talented animator. I assume he probably works for some kind of animation company. Has created a fantastic new character on YouTube called Lucas the Spider, and it's so cute. How the hell have you made a spider so damn cute, huh? But that sort of thing, that sort of character that has gripped the internet like it has, it really has gripped the internet within a very short amount of time. I imagine will be picked up by some kind of large company and will probably be turned into some animated film or series or something at some point. What else we've got going on in the live chat? Design and repair are different sciences. I cannot do your job, says Carlos. Really? You see, interestingly enough, I maybe can understand that. I can maybe understand that a little bit, because although I repair these amplifiers, I wouldn't be able to design one just yet. I would like to get to that point where my knowledge is good enough to be able to design one of these things, but that it does require a different skill set. It does require a different skill set that is a bit... my alcohol has fallen off the back of my workbench. It does require a different level of skill and level of knowledge to design a functional circuit than it does to repair one. So I am a problem solver, so I can look at something that somebody else has designed and made, something that currently works, and I can take a good stab at figuring out why it doesn't work. But to actually design something from scratch is a totally different ballgame. So I do hope to expand my knowledge enough so that one day I can maybe have my own amplifier brand and design these boards from scratch so that they're reliable, so they're easy to repair, maybe even so that the customer can repair their own amplifier, put everything on sort of boards that they can unscrew, and I can then sell them an amplifier repair kit that they can just screw in and it will just work. Because how amazing would that be? The amount of people that blow car amps is ridiculous. And the amount of people that can repair car amplifiers is far less than the people that blow them. So imagine if you could just get a drop-in amplifier recone kit for your amp. That'd be amazing. Probably not very cheap to manufacture the amplifier that would actually do that, but if, you know, whatever. Tom says, Sam, you should see the amps I work on. From fiber optic nodes to RF amps, lasers and all. Fucking hell. That sounds very complicated. Keep that shit out of my workshop for sure. Keep that out of my workshop for sure. Technology seller, I inverted my sub and demounted my amps off my box onto the floor, and I'm definitely louder. Cool, probably because your box was slightly undersized, and your larger box now, because you've inverted, is more efficient. So your woofer is moving a bit more and it's more efficient, so you're using less power. So yeah, nice. Designing an amplifier is easy, repairing is more complicated. See, at this point in my knowledge, it's the other way around for me. So I don't quite, because I never went to electronics school or anything. I never took any classes, never went to any schools. I don't really understand electronics like to the level that I probably should to be doing this. So I've only been repairing for a year, so I can. That's gross. I'm so glad I took this out of the case, because this definitely needs a clean up. So yeah, so I can repair the stuff, but like if somebody said to me, right, design me an amplifier from scratch, I would be like, what? I wouldn't be able to do it just yet. I would, you know, if I was forced to, if someone had a gun to my head and said, design me an amplifier or die, then I'd probably like take parts of other car amplifiers that I've got in my head and like design something based on like designs out there. So the power supply would consist of, because the most reliable power supplies that I've ever seen in a car amplifier are actually the band amp power supplies that never ever die. I've never seen one of those power supplies die, and it consists of 18 IRFB 3077 MOSFETs driven by 4427 chips, and I think there's a. I don't think the Banda uses a PIC to generate the wave for that. But I'd have to work out what capacitors were needed on the 4427s, and I'd have to work out. So the output section will probably be quite basic. It'll probably be based on a base face or an SPL Dynamics D series design, where it has it's just N-channel MOSFETs, with a high side and a low side, like a 640Ns or something. 640Ns or IRFB, what's the other one? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, to actually get the thing working and to know all the small resistor values and all the small capacitor values that I'd need around the drive circuit and the Zener diodes, which I'd need around the output section, for example, I wouldn't know those, so I wouldn't be able to design that. So what 12-inch subwoofers would you recommend? What's your budget? What's your power requirements? What's your space? There's too many variables. I also repair amplifiers, and you say helped me a lot. I'm really glad that I helped you, buddy. I'm really glad that our knowledge is rubbed off on one another, or I was able to maybe give you a bit of advice that helped you out. So I'm glad about that. That's why a lot of companies are using the same board. Yes, that is why a lot of companies are using the same board. And you'll notice that if you look at a lot of car amplifiers from Chinese or Korean factories, what they will have done is they will have stolen a lot of the circuit designs of different parts of the amplifier over the course of like the last 20 years, in fact, and just built on that idea, built on that circuit design. And there are actually parts of car amplifier circuits that are no longer required. Zener diodes in weird places that are no longer required. Capacitors and stuff, and resistors that are maybe the wrong values for the FETs that they're using now, or etc. And that is because like you've just had the same board that's been copied and replicated and copied and copied and copied again and worked on and improved on and copied again, and to the point where there's actually a lot of components on these boards that aren't actually required anymore. Banda is US made, Banda is Brazilian. Live streams are always a very small percentage of total viewers. Even people with 500k subs only get around 1k viewers at prime time. Yeah, I find that as well. If what else we got in the live chat? This amplifier repair is taking far too long. All I've got to do is replace a switch, but I'm getting too involved in the live chat because it's blowing up this evening. A lot of Bandas have died, but it's almost always the output section. Yes, the Banda power supplies, I have never ever seen a Banda power supply die, not just on the Viking range, on any of their amplifiers. The power supplies have never died. I don't know whether it's due to a very fast protection circuit or whether it's just because they're incredibly stable and strong. The IRFB 3077s do have a very, very low RDS. So it could be something to do with that. That could help out. They have an like one of the lowest RDS values in a TO220 package. Darth says I'll PayPal you $20 if you eat a dead spider. Nope. Nope. It's not happening. It's not happening. Oh man, that makes me feel sick just thinking about it. Is Digital Designs good subwoofers? Yes, it is. One of the best. One of the best. Digital Design subwoofers is one of the best. I'm not doing it. No matter how much you pay me, I'm not eating a flipping dead spider. Plus, I've kind of removed them all now, so I wouldn't even know where to find one at this point. Ouch. Hot solder splashing on your hands. Never a good time when that happens. Seth says, "Oh man, look at my look at my solder sucker. What the fuck's happened there? So I've lost the front to my solder sucker. Bugger! I've got to find that. I live by Korean amplifiers. Yeah, Korean amplifiers, because they've been around for so long, they've been perfected and they're very reliable now. Anyone else here eating a 5p coin-sized piece of MDF? No, not me. Not me. $60 to Sam to eat a spider. Oh no. No, because it's kind of getting to the point now where it's actually a reasonable amount of money that it might be worth doing. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. We are getting two 12-inch subwoofers for my Pontiac, blah blah blah. Message retracted by Darth. Oh, okay. Are you trying to say billing an amplifier... What? Are you trying to say billing a amplifier more technical than repair in? Sorry buddy, I would love to answer that, but I don't understand the question. I'm just going to try and find the top to my solar sucker because I think it pinged off somewhere earlier. Where are you? It's got to be down here somewhere. It's got to be down here somewhere because it pinged off in this general direction. Oh man, that's going to be so annoying if I can't find that. Ah, Jesus. Lost it. Okay, that's annoying. So to suck the solder from these holes, unless I want to clear out the whole area of my workshop over there, because literally that thing pinged off with such a force. You can see the spring on there. It pinged off with such a force that I need to now dig out my desoldering gun in order to get this damn thing off. Because I don't have a working solder sucker now. How annoying is that? So here's my trusty desoldering gun that I haven't used for a long time because I found it very slow because I kept having to clean out the filter. So I'm going to have to attach this bad boy to the to my solder station. That's annoying. What we got going on in the live chat? Holy fuck! Oh bloody hell! Who the fuck donated me $20? Seth? Jesus Christ, dude. Man, Seth, you need to quit. Jesus Christ, man, you need to quit donating. Why is it? Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much, buddy. You have no idea how much I appreciate like a donation like that. It means so much. That means I can buy myself a new solder sucker and not have to look for the one that I just lost. And also that money goes towards a decent workshop bench power supply, and also at one point a ultrasonic cleaner. I really would love an ultrasonic cleaner because that would probably solve a lot of my bander issues, because the banders have pads that are so close to each other, and it seems that we're getting leakage through some of the pads on the board and through some corrosion on the board, etc. So honestly, thank you so much for that, buddy. If there's anything that I can help you with personally, just give me a shout. Wait, this $20 isn't for me to eat a spider, is it? Are you saying that building an amplifier is more technically challenging than repairing it? Is what he's saying, I believe. Okay, I think that building an amplifier, well, for me anyway, building an amplifier would be far more technically challenging than repairing one. I just finished repairing a Zapco with the power supply. Watching your vids helped tremendously. Fantastic! Yeah, boy! I'm glad you fixed something, man. That's wicked. Says John62. I bet that felt great. Spider Inc. Have you heard of Islon Electronics? I have not, no. Have you ever repaired a QSC power amplifier? No, I have not. The damn desoldering gun. What components make up the system in your daily driver? Digital Designs AW6.5, Digital Designs AW3, Digital Designs AT28, and then a Genesis 8-channel limited edition Class A 4-channel ×2 plus a twin mono class AB, and a Digital Designs DSi-1 processor, and probably some kind of class AB bass amplifier, and a pair of DDZ321s in infinite baffle, true infinite baffle, with the cones of the woofers firing to the outside world and the rear of the woofers firing into the car to create a true IB setup. And we have transmission line doors at 53 Hertz, and we have the A pillars all time aligned and everything. It's a fucking nice system. I'll show you guys soon. Can you explain why you want to run an infinite baffle subwoofer? Yes, I can, but I shall do that in a little bit because I am busy almost trying to sort out this this amplifier. You're my favorite car audio YouTuber ever. Thank you so much, buddy. That means a lot. Hi Vanessa, how's it going? Thank you so much. It does, it sounds amazing, and I really want to show you. I'm going to show you guys very shortly what my car audio system sounds like, but I'm trying to work out how to record the sound using microphones so that it actually sounds good to you who's watching it as well, because obviously you know that over YouTube, trying to show you how it sounds over YouTube is not going to go too well, because obviously YouTube and microphones and stuff do not give a true representation of how it's meant to sound. But I'm working on how to actually make it sound very nice to you on video, so you can actually get an idea of how it sounds in real life. Once I've done that, and I'm also waiting for the weather to improve a little bit as well, because I want a nice sunny day to show you guys this, then I will show you. It is still kind of a work in progress, but it's getting to the point now where it looks quite nice and it sounds absolutely great. Wagwan Bearvids, how's your day been, brother? It says produced by Zenith. My day has been fantastic. My day has been brilliant. I have repaired two things. One of them being a very complicated Atomic Audio 7K with a dead everything. It had a dead output section, basically killed the whole flipping lot. And we repaired it. We repaired it together on my live stream with some help from a lot of people on here. And I also repaired a Rockford Fosgate 4-channel, which is very nice because I own that one myself, so I can sell that for maximum returns. Use a microphone with a distortion limiter. Yes, good plan. That will be what I will do. I learnt my knowledge through experience, buddy. I didn't go to any schools or anything like that. I just bought some blown car amps and had a play with them until they worked. And then I learned from that and tried a different one and tried again and until I got good enough that I was confident offering this as a service. I'm just reconnecting up my desoldering gun because my my solder sucker has pinged its head off somewhere, and I can't find it just now, and I can't be bothered to go look for it because it's going to be somewhere ridiculous. So I'm hooking up my desoldering gun for the first time in a long time to remove this switch on this Orion D5000. This phase switch which is causing there to be no audio. This tiny, teeny, tiny couple of cents part, this part which cost a couple of cents, has brought this amplifier down to a standstill. Okay. What's your thoughts on H-class amplifier? A fucking headache to repair. A headache to repair. That's my thoughts on Class H amplifier. To listen to them is not bad. Depends what brand you're talking about, because there's a few brands that have done Class H style boards. I found for this thing to work, I've got to crank the temperature way up, like to the highest it will go. I need to wait for a little while for it to heat up as well. It has a high thermal mass. How do you get the FETs off the strips in the Fosgate amp? I use an electric skillet. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds fancy. I haven't had to repair one of those yet, but I would probably take a nice large surface area solder to iron tip, and I would just heat the crap out of it until it was hot enough. A decent flat response mic with a manual adjustable gain recording would be good. Yes, I use condenser microphone here. This is the Behringer 4000 something or other, which is it's a RTA microphone, so it's incredibly flat. It's one of the flattest response microphones you can get for a decent price. So I will probably use that. Opinions on Scar. From what I've seen, the boards are quite good. I think they're just generic Korean boards, but I think they're meant to be quite good. Yeah, the solder sucker is actually doing its job. We're actually sucking some solder with the solder sucker, believe it or not. Although, how many holes will I be able to do before the thing gets clogged up? Because that's my biggest problem with the bloody solder sucker, is that it works great, but then it just gets super clogged up because it's got a shitty design. Look, already it's almost clogged up, you see. It's a really shitty design, this one. And so it gets clogged up and doesn't work, and then you have to open the thing up and try and declog it. Have you ever seen an Audison HR100? I have not. From memory, I have not. No. Is it good? Audison usually makes some okay stuff. I have a HCA 4000.4 that is a Class H. Ah, yes, I think they did make a Class H amplifier. Yeah, that should be pretty good, actually. That should be quite a nice amplifier. I have a broken Orion 2500 with some bad FETs. I could use a little assistance with getting the right FETs for replacements. If and when you can assist, I can send some pics, says Vanessa. For sure. Send me some pictures over to my BearVids Facebook page. So facebook.com/BearVids. I'll have a look at what the originals are, and I'll be happy to assist you with finding some replacements. So with this solder sucker, I have sucked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tiny holes, right? I've sucked whatever it was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tiny holes. And see this little blue thing here? When I press the air gun bit, it goes red if it's clogged up, right? So already it's getting clogged up from that tiny amount of desoldering I've done. So in order to sort that out, I have to push this do this to reload. I have to push this back here. I have to remember which way this goes. I haven't done this in a while. Which one was it? Yes. So you push that back here to take out the filter pod thing here. Do that. Get rid of all the crap. Now you see there's always a little bit of flipping solder which is stuck in the tip here. You see this? I don't want to touch that because that's going to be red hot. But this doesn't get hot enough to melt the solder all the way through. So there's always a little bit of solder left in the end. So I've got to try and get that out. And I don't know how deep it goes in either. You see the solder there? It's not melted. It's not melted. Even though it's in the tip, it's not actually melted. So I've got to try and... You see that? I've got to try and pull that through. Get that solder out of there. And that is why this thing is a nightmare to use, because every few flipping holes that I suck with it, I have to do that and then put it all back together again. And sometimes it's a lot worse than that as well. Sometimes it doesn't come out as easy as that. And I sit there for a good 10 minutes trying to get the flipping thing out. There we go. So now it's working again correctly. But yeah, just flipping nightmare. I would much rather use my manual solder sucker over this any day of the week. Generic cheap stuff. Get stuck all the time. Yeah, man. That's because my soldering station is made by Aoyue. That's why it's crap. So I need to save up for a decent solder sucker. I think I do need to save up for a decent solder sucker, and then my life would be a lot easier. So that's something that I will put my Patreon and my donations money towards. Currently, the list consists of a decent solder sucker, a worktop bench power supply with adjustable preset current and voltage, etc., and an ultrasonic cleaner. We've got quite a long way to go, but we'll get there. If you were an amplifier, what amplifier would you be? That's an interesting question. Does it have to be a car amplifier? I'd probably be a Genesis. Vanessa says, thanks a bunch. Thank you as well. Thank you, Vanessa, for joining in the live stream and getting involved. It's fantastic to have you here. It really is. It makes my job so much more fun, because, you know, I'd be doing this shit by myself. I'd be doing this shit all by myself. If it wasn't for you guys keeping me entertained in the live chat and causing my repairs to take twice as long as they would otherwise, I'd be bored out of my mind. So we just sucked the holes from that switch there. So now this switch should come out the board very nice and easy. There we go. So this is the reason. This is the thing that was preventing from this amplifier from working, was this janky ass looking phase switch. So just something as simple and as small as that can bring an amplifier down in flames. Well, not in flames, but stop it from working anyway. Put some oil on the solder sucker, says Electronic Arts. That's not a bad idea, actually. That's actually a pretty good idea. I hadn't thought of that, you know. I hadn't actually thought of that. That's a good idea. I should try that in the meantime while I save up for a decent solder sucker. So, we have a look in the drawer of requirements. This is my drawer of random shit. This is my drawer of, like, it says RCA, etc. on it, because the RCAs were the first thing that I put in it, the RCANs, and then I just started loading it up with a load of other crap, and so I just called it RCA, etc. So we've got like switches, we've got headers, RCANs, some washers, and some resistors that actually shouldn't be in that drawer. The resistors should be in one of the bottom drawers. Get out of there. So yeah, these three drawers are kind of like my random what the fuck drawers. So in my what the fuck drawers, we have found a replacement switch. See here? This is a switch which is this happens to be the exact same type and fitment as the one I just removed. So that's good. Boil the oil. Suckers, guns, braid, it doesn't matter. Desoldering seems to be a headache. I agree with that statement. Hallelujah to that statement. Although I do have the best success with desoldering. Oh, that is so satisfying. Like, you know, things that are just satisfying. And I'm not talking anything X-rated here, because this is a PG YouTube channel. Like I tell you what, I don't know why, but I just find that so satisfying. Just flipping, like when you've got 10 pins here, and you just line it up, and it just goes poof so easily without any complaints. It goes in there. Ah, that's lovely. That's lovely. I need to plug my normal soldering iron back in now. And turn the temperature down from 480 down to 370. Question: I have a SCAR Audio 3500 with a bad output driver chip. Anyone knows which part numbers the chip is? Sniper King 25D. I haven't got that board like programmed into my head, but I imagine it's probably going to be an IRS 21844S. Send me a picture on facebook.com/bearvids and I will try and help you with what the part number is for that chip. Seth says, loving your live videos, keep them up as you're doing. I've been watching more since you started actual live. Fantastic. I'm glad to see that. Like, I was worried that going live and doing these like stupidly long live streams would actually put people off because they're like so long, and who the hell has time to watch some idiot in a workshop in England repairing or trying to repair stuff. But it seems that people actually are getting more involved with the channel now that I've been going live. So, you know, that's made me happy. That's really good. So should I even bother testing this before I put it back in the case? Because I know this is going to work. I know this is going to work. Teeny tiny little switch and away we go. What time is it anyway? It's only 2:30 AM. It's only 2:30 AM in the UK, and we've repaired 3 things today already. So I think we should carry on because we're on a bit of a roll this evening. We should carry on and see how many things we can repair in one day. We're on 3 so far, provided this actually works. Matt says I have the time. Yeah, Matt has the time. Matt's like one of the first guys to jump on my live streams all the time. Don't say that. It's gonna work. Sam, what's your beer of choice? I am on a Desperados this evening. I'm not a massive fan of beer, but the Desperados is sweet enough for me to like it. I was always a cider drinker. I'm mostly a wine drinker. I am a sucker for a dry red, like a Reserva Rioja. Some Merlots are very nice. Chablis is good. Faustino, very nice. So I'm not massively beer drinker, but I just fancy something a bit more thirst quenching this evening. I listen while I study for my EET classes. That's cool, so you got me on in the background. That's wicked, that's wicked. Capri Sun is more my drink. How about Sunny D? Who remembers Sunny D? Was that in America as well? Or was that just a UK thing? Sunny D was like the drink when I was a kid. Now, I don't know if that was just a UK hype or whether that was over in the States as well. Where's the case for this amp? Alright, so let's just quickly power this amp up out of the case just to make sure that we have actually fixed it. Just to make sure that we have actually fixed it and that there's not some other trolling issue going on. Because I think it's just going to be that switch there that's the issue. So let's get our RCAs that we need again. So we need to plug our RCAs into this amplifier for this to present its issue to us. Where's the oh, here it is. Input RCA is on the left hand side here. So let's plug that in. Let's get our frequency generator and let's turn it on and see what we got. Let's see what we got. Amplifiers come on, good stuff. We have output switches. Oh, oops, I should probably turn my scope on. So we've got output switch, as you can see. The output switch wave, I haven't turned my scope on to the right settings for output switch, so it just looks like a big mess, but I know that that's good. So, yes, audio. Do we have audio? Da 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 da. Yes, we do. Amplifier is fixed. Funcionaba. Muy bien. Estupendo. Cool. So let's put this thing back together then, and let's do a bench test. I am curious to see what these things bench at. I wonder actually whether my bench power supplies are going to be enough to bench this thing. When you fix this, I'm going to have to go. Busy day tomorrow. Well, Matt, we've just fixed it. It's fixed, man. You can go and get some sleep. I don't know why you're up watching this anyway. So yeah, definitely go and get some sleep, man. If you've got a busy day tomorrow, This, you know, all my videos will always be on YouTube for you to watch later on anyway. You know, so yeah, don't worry if you miss a live stream, you can watch it later on the channel. Next one, says Olaf. Yes, next one. What shall we fix next? Easy fix. Finally, I get an amplifier that's an easy fix. And I'm glad that it's the Orion as well, because I didn't want this to be a difficult fix either. Gotta be up at 6 AM. Holy shit, man. Get some rest. Get some rest, my man. Get some rest. That's not a lot of sleep. Get some rest. Okay. So, third beer in, and we fixed the third amplifier. So that's one amplifier per beer. I've had 3 beers, and we fixed 3 amplifiers. So if you want to repair some amplifiers, then have a beer per amp, and you'll do well. Skiddy pop pop. I should probably remove my power supply before trying to get this back in the case, because that's not going to go well. And short the power supply caps. Boof! Ah, small spark that time. So this bit of paper was in the amplifier, and the reason that this bit of paper was in the amplifier is because it prevents the power supply capacitors here shorting out onto the case. Yeah, it goes like that. Your interaction with your live stream is what keeps me hooked. Ah, wicked. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I tell you what, I love the live stream. Now that I've been doing it for a few days, I fucking love the live stream. It really keeps me company here in the workshop. Like, because obviously I don't work in an office or anything where there's like people to interact with, la-di-da-di-da. So, you know, when I'm in the workshop, I'm in here solo, by myself. So being able to live stream these, teach you guys some stuff, and you know, we all learn from our mistakes at the same time, and you know, we all share knowledge, and I get company as well. Makes me very happy indeed. So shall I bother putting this? Yeah, I should probably put this back together, because if I don't, then I risk losing all of the parts. I don't want to lose all the parts for this. I've got all the parts just sitting here on the bench. So let's put it back together. Let's put this thing back together, and let's have some fun on the live chat. Budweiser and Sky Waller. Budweiser's not bad. Budweiser's not bad. I don't mind. See, I'm not a massive beer drinker, so I like all the pussy drinks like Sol. What's the other one? There's another one that you have with lime. I can't remember what the name of it is just now. What's up to Ashton? What's up, my man? How's it going? Hello to Victor. Hello to Victor. Matt, what do you mean you can't sleep? You didn't even try. You didn't even try. That was barely enough time to do your teeth, bruv. How's it going to people that have just joined us? So if you've just joined us, we've had a fucking successful evening tonight. We have repaired 3 amplifiers. We've repaired an Atomic 7,000 watt RMS amplifier with a dodgy output section, blown drive ICs, blown 7915 small voltage regulator, blown inductor on the regulated circuit, and blown FETs, and what else did it blew? It blew some capacitor on the small voltage rectification circuit. So that was a bit of a headache, but we got there in the end with that one. We repaired a Rockford Fosgate 300-4 small 4-channel amplifier, and we repaired this Orion D5000 that had a very small but convenient issue with one of the switches on the preamp board, which was the 180-degree phase switch. So that turned out to be a nice easy repair. So we're on our 3rd success of the evening. So I'm going to keep going until we hit something that we can't fix. And then I'm going to go and get some sleep. I need to remember which way these went. These things always confuse me a little bit. Beverage, while you have it apart, it might be a good idea to go over and check the solder joints, make sure everything looks decent. Yeah, I had a quick look at the bottom of the board earlier. This looks in pretty good condition, apart from all the spiders. they're not, these amps aren't so old that they would suffer greatly from bad solder joints, etc. Yeah, I think we'll be alright. I'm not looking to charge this customer a great deal. He's the customer who's this amplifier is for. He's a lovely guy, and he's kind of a friend of mine as well now. So we're not looking to charge a great deal for him. So small switch repair, and we're up and running again. What the fuck? How did these go? Hang on a minute. So that's around that. Okay. Wait, what the fuck? No, hang on a minute. Yes. No. Wait. Yes. No. No. What the heck? How did this go? I always get confused with these ones. These ones always troll me out. Which side did you go in? So your pair, the other one of you is this one. This one's the other one of you. So let's see if we can work out which side was meant to go on. What have we got in the live chat? Live chat is making my repairs go super slow this evening, which is good. I like it. Smell of ice? Nah, man. Do you do anything about Taramps high voltage amplifiers? Says Audio Doctor. Do you mean the super high voltage ones where you need like 250 volts to get the thing working? If so, I haven't actually come across any of those in the UK for repair yet. I know of one guy in the whole of the UK who runs those high voltage amplifiers, and he hasn't blown it yet. So I guess my repair services aren't needed for him just yet. There we go. That's how it goes in. Okay. But I would tackle it, you know, if he came to me and he was like, Sam, I blew my high voltage Taramps, I'd be like, okay, let's give it a go. I'm up for anything, you know. I'll try anything twice. And you know why I say I'll try anything twice? Like, most people say, yeah, try anything once, right? No. Try anything twice. Because you could have had a bad experience, or by fluke, the first time you tried something, it didn't work out for you. You didn't like it, or you couldn't work something out the first time you tried it. So, try something once, okay? Get an idea of what it is. If you have a bad experience or it doesn't work for you, try it one more time with the knowledge of exactly what it is that you're doing. And that goes for every walk of life. That goes for every walk of life. Other than maybe things that make you ill. Like if someone says, try my cooking, and you try it and you get sick and you throw up, then maybe don't try that a second time, because that's just stupid. But in general, for new things, try things twice. Why am I talking about that anyway? Matt said, I am not tired, so I'm just going to wait till I am and might as well watch Sammy Boy while I do. Fair play, buddy, fair play. Rowan's a cider man. Wicked stuff. Yeah, I'm mostly a cider man as well. That's got to be stressful, says Victor. It wasn't too bad. Nice streak fixing amps. Let's keep it up, says Sniper King. Yeah, buddy, let's keep it up. Let's put this thing back together quickly so I can move on to my next one, and you guys can have fun watching me screw up the next one. Because, you know, things comes in threes. Things always come in threes, don't they? So my fourth amplifier is probably not going to be a successful one. So if you stay tuned, you'll probably see some nice, funny content of me screwing up an amplifier repair, especially after 3 beers. So I reckon, because so obviously so this is my job, right? So obviously I've had 3 beers, which is like fuck all, because I drink a lot of wine, so I have a huge tolerance to alcohol, like really huge tolerance to alcohol. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to start feeling the effects of alcohol. But saying that, I'm also not an idiot. So because I've had 3 beers, my next amplifier will probably be one that I own myself. Because I would find it, I'd feel a little bit irresponsible working on a customer's property after having 3 beers. So what I'll do is my next amplifier will be one that I own myself, that I have bought to repair and sell on. That way I don't feel as irresponsible. Now where did that one go? Let's have a look. KA47, KA7812. Maybe that one went there. Let's have a look. And then we should have a small one. No, the small one went in the middle. That's right, the small one went in the middle. Blah, blah, blah. Sam, do you enjoy the snow? I love the snow. The snow makes me happy. But I don't have to go anywhere. So the people that enjoy the snow tend to be the people that don't actually have to go anywhere or do anything in the snow. If I did have to go anywhere or do anything in the snow, then I probably wouldn't enjoy it, but I don't. So I don't mind the snow. I quite like it. It makes a change. What am I doing? I really liked the video of your 23Hz T-line box. Yeah, that was a cool video. Cheers, buddy. That was a cool video. I actually still run that setup to this day. I still run the same box, the same woofer, the same amp. Well, I use the Technics SUV 650. What the hell am I doing? I'm putting it in the wrong side. Yeah, I use the Technics SUV V60. It's a very good amplifier and it sounds fantastic on the subwoofer that I'm using. Eat a friggin' spider, says Darth Imitus. I'm not eating a spider! I'm not eating a spider! Although that does kind of go against my try anything twice saying. Because I've never eaten a spider before, so, you know, going by my own advice earlier, try anything twice. I should probably eat a couple of spiders right now. I like trashing old Sony Explode vid. Yeah, that was good fun as well. You know, that Sony Explode is still going as well. That's that Sony Explode is currently running in my car because I haven't done the boot build for the DDZ21s yet. So for a bit of temporary bass in my car, I have that same Sony Explode that I was abusing the shit out of all those years ago, and it is currently running in my car, and it sounds amazing. When people get in and listen, they're actually like, I can't believe that's a flipping Sony Explode. They're like, oh, I can't believe that. It sounds great, you know, it sounds great. It is running off of a Class AB LW Audio 4-channel amplifier, so that probably helps out with you know, helping it sound nice. But yeah, pretty cool, huh? UK, I remember I had an amp and a preamp only, and I had a cooler with the 2 wheels. The speaker I used was a Bass Inferno. It was some shitty as speaker. After a few months my amp died. Nah. That sucks. There's no power supply section on those high voltage tar amps. Yeah, there's not, is there? There's no power supply section. Yeah, it's literally just an output section that uses a single high voltage rail, which is clever because it massively decreases the size that the amplifier needs to be because there's no power supply section. So one thing that's always got to me, and that's I've always found funny, is that a car amplifier consists of 2 sections, and like usually over half of the size of the car amplifier is actually just taken up by taking the stinky ass 12 volts that the car provides and turning it into something that the amplifier can use to drive a speaker. So if you've already got the high voltage that's required to drive a speaker, then you can use it directly, and then all of a sudden your amplifier like halves in size, and that's the deal with the Taram's high voltage amplifiers. They're just an output section. I made it, says Bass at 30. Joshua Cox says, do newer amps using lead-free solder have issues with drier cracking solder joints? Yes. From my experience, it tends to be newer amplifiers I have seen. Okay, so I don't know the exact sciences behind solder and the constitutional makeups of solder, the lead-free, etc. But from what I have seen myself, from working on these amplifiers, is that the newer amplifiers seem to have more issues with where you've got the leg of the solder leg. Sorry, the component leg has obviously the blob of solder, and with the newer amplifiers, if that leg is under any sort of vibration, or if it's required to move, or if it gets moved by anything, for example the power wire, if it's like a power terminal, if it's the RCA terminal, if it's under any movement at all over some time, and sometimes quite a short amount of time, yeah, the solder, it just kind of pushes away, and you end up with the solder blob and then the leg sticking out the middle of it, and it's not actually touching the sides. And I see that more so on newer amplifiers than I do the older amplifiers using leaded solder. But that's just an observation. That's not me. That's not to say that, you know, the solder is actually causing that. That's just an observation that I've made. So you can take away from that what you will. Don't put your arm against that board like this. Yeah, we're discharged in here, buddy. We're discharged in here. Hard drugs, try them once, then try them again. Depends on your experience with them, I guess. Like, I have to admit, like, there's probably a lot of people on here that like have taken all sorts of drugs and stuff. I am not one of those people. Like, I don't have anything against it at all. You know, just as long as you do it safely, in somewhere that you are safe and is a safe environment for you, and you're not gonna trip out and hurt anybody. But it's not for me. I find that I'm kind of excitable enough as it is. I mean, I've done, so the hardest drug that I've ever done, I wouldn't call it a hard drug because it's natural. And the reason I've only ever done natural drugs is because I don't trust people. So people that make drugs, I don't trust people. So I don't trust them to make it correctly, or to put the correct things in it, or not to put other shit in it to make it sell for more profit. So the only drugs that I have ever tried to this date, or that I probably will ever try, will be completely natural things that come out the flipping ground, because the earth isn't going to troll you, and it's not going to put any bricks and shit in your drugs, or in whatever it is that you're eating, or whatever, to try and make more money off you, because the earth isn't like that. The earth just grows what it grows. So the only drugs I've ever tried are things that come out the ground. And I do understand the whole tripping thing, but I don't need it. I'm energetic and happy enough as it is. I don't need an escape. I don't need an escape that the drugs provide. Give me some fucking amps to repair, give me some bass, give me a nice female, and I'm happy. I'm happy as can be. Oh my god, Sam, your Sony X-Plod is in your car. Yeah, man, it's in some random L-ported box that I picked up for free off of someone that didn't want it anymore. I'll show you. I will show you in the video that I make of my car. It's hilarious. It's only running on about, what's it running on? It's probably running on about 200 watts RMS, but people will still think it's like a pair of 12s or 15. Crazy. It sounds lovely as well. Sounds very nice. I have it crossed over quite low because I have my transmission line door cards that play down quite low. So the Sony X-Plod in the back is only really providing the real low end stuff. Seth says, I sent you pics of my Orion HCCA on Facebook. I think it's insane. And my two HCCA 1100.1s. Awesome, man. I will check that out after the stream. Thank you very much for sending that for me. I'll check it out. Regardless of the application, lead-free solar is horrid. I hate the stuff. Yeah, man. I imagine it's a nightmare to work with. I've not had the experience of working with lead-free solder, so I can't say. Anything in moderation is okay. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Like, don't overdo anything. A little bit of everything you like. A little bit of everything you like won't do you too much harm. And at the end of the day, you've got to actually live your life. You can't go throughout your life not doing things because you're scared as to how it will impact you or your health later on, because you don't know what's around the corner. So you could live your life deliberately not doing the things that you love because you're worried as to how it might impact you later on in life, and then you could be hit by a bus. And so all of that being careful was for nothing. So obviously don't be stupid and don't do things that's gonna get you killed, but also do things that make you happy, even if perhaps it may not be the best thing, but do it in moderation. The most important thing is to be happy. You can be rich in life and have no money. You can be rich, you can be a rich human and have no money. The funny thing with the drugs is, yeah, so I go to a lot of raves, like drum and bass raves, dubstep raves, etc. And literally, like, the highest percentage of people there are all on some next drugs, right? So the raves are from like 10 PM till like 6 AM, and I go with a group of my good friends, and a lot of them do take drugs. They take like some pills or whatever to make the experience, you know, heightened for them, and a lot of the time it will get to like sort of 3:30, 4 or 5 AM, and you know they'll maybe be conking out there, or they'll maybe be thinking, fuck, you know, they're gonna have to take too much drugs to carry on. I will have driven to the rave in my car, drank a Red Bull and water, and I will still be dancing off of my face. I'll be absolutely loving life and dancing like crazy at 6 AM, and then I'll drive home in my car with my music on. And that, my friends, is what I love about not having to take drugs, and not even having to have a drink, not even having to have any alcohol either, to have a fucking great time. Alcohol isn't natural. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Don't lie. Alcohol's flipping natural. I'll tell you why alcohol's natural. Because we have pear trees in my garden. Oh shit! Where did this bugger? I've got a ground wire here that I need to put somewhere, and I haven't put it where it needs to go before I clamp these things down. So we have oh yeah, I put it too far over one way. So we have pear trees in my garden. Okay. So pears grow on the trees, and the pears fall on the ground, and when the pears fall on the ground, they start to rot and decay, and they actually start in the decaying process, they start to produce very, very small amounts of alcohol. And so the wasps, and generally the wasps, they absolutely love the pears. They love the sweet pear juice and the rotting pears, and so they go over and they start eating all the pears, all the rotting pears, and they get drunk as fuck. They get absolutely wasted, these wasps. And so they go in there, start eating some pears, and then they start trying to fly away from the pears. And I've watched this. I've been sitting in the garden with a glass of wine, believe it or not, and I've been watching this happen. And the wasps, they fly away, and they're all over the place. Like, fucking Margaret, I've had a bit too much pear juice this evening, bro. And they're all over the show, and they're like falling on the ground, or they're like crawling across the ground in some kind of weird ass manner, can't get up. Yeah. So yeah, alcohol is natural, I believe, from my observations of life. Although these observations were made whilst drinking a glass of wine, so you know, who knows? They could be incorrect observations. Bass is a drug in itself. Yeah, man. Bass is a flipping drug. It's addictive as hell. Car audio is addictive as hell as well. Produced by Zenith says 100% agree with your wisdom. I wouldn't say that I have any wisdom, but thank you. Is meth good in small doses? I have no idea because I have never tried meth, so I have no idea what it does to you, or what the effects are or anything like that, because I've never done meth, so I have no idea. Don't buy drugs, save more money for woofers. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. What if you get hit by a bus because you're tripping balls on hard drugs that you tried twice? Well, that, my friends, is I reference back to what I said earlier. If you're gonna try these drugs, do it in a safe environment. Do it in a safe environment, somewhere where you're not gonna go walking around and get hit by a flipping bus. Because it's unlikely that the 96 to Blue Water is gonna come rolling through your bedroom door, is it? Or whatever other room you happen to be in when you're trying these hard drugs for the second time. This is hilarious, chat. This amp's taking me forever to put back together. Hey Sam, long time subscriber, first time stream watcher. Fascinating to watch you tinker. I hope you're doing more of these. Yes, Ali Murphy. Thank you very much for tuning in, and that's fantastic to hear that you are a long time watcher of the channel. Yeah, I'll be doing this pretty much ongoing for as long as people like it from now on. So whenever I'm in the workshop and I have amps to repair, I'll probably hook on the live stream, and you can tune in and watch me make some funny mistakes. And watch me get told what to do by H1 Nicholas, Amp Repair Service, and Carlos. Fermenting is a major part of alcohol creation. Yeah, it'll talk. Ah, yes, fermenting is the word I was looking for. Fermenting is the word that was escaping my mouth just then. Meth gives you a bitter beer face. Jokes. What do you think about Bitcoin? I see a lot of other car audio YouTubers getting into it. I feel like I missed the boat with it, and I kind of don't care now. Like, I feel like I missed the point where it was going to be super profitable, so I kind of don't care, and I don't have the time to like invest in it now. If I'd have known that this was going to be such a thing like way earlier on, then obviously I would have got into it. And that's what everyone says. Oh, if only I'd known. Like, yeah, hindsight is like your biggest enemy. Like, you know, if you'd known this, then you would have done this. Like, so if I'd known Bitcoin was going to be a thing, I would have invested in it and probably mined the shit out of it a long time ago. But I didn't. And so that's fine. Let everyone else that's in the cryptocurrency game get on with their thing, and I shall get on with fixing this shit. I ain't got time for anything else now. Have you seen my to-do list? It's flipping long as hell. That crap they give to kids for ADD and ADHD is basically small doses of meth. Holy crap. I don't know. What's your guys' opinions on kids with like ADD and ADHD and stuff like that? Like, so I saw someone said recently, which kind of made me laugh a little bit, is that there's no such thing as ADHD. It's just called bad parenting. Like, what's your views on that? I mean, obviously, all kids are different. So you're gonna have kids that are like more. That are like maybe harder to settle down, or they maybe don't take information on quite as quickly or as eagerly as others. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? Do you think ADHD is really a thing, or do you think it's just like parents or people that don't know what's best for what's best for their kids? My friend gave his kids coffee and it calmed them down. Really? Coffee does the exact opposite to me. Coffee makes me really need a poo. You find that? When you have a coffee, you're like, nah, I gotta go take a shit. I have ADHD and I learned to cope with it. Good on you, my friend. That's fantastic. I think I actually got, when I was very young, I got well, one of my teachers at school, who was a terrible teacher, said that I had ADHD, and then the following year at school, obviously I went into a different class, and then there was no more of it. I think the teacher was just crap. Like, this was when I was like 5 or 6 years old, so I don't remember any of this. My parents told me this, but I think it was just the teacher that was terrible and like didn't know what was best for me. So just like by default was like, this kid's got ADHD, so I didn't do too well in her class either. But after that, all the years in school after that, I did pretty well. So I think it must have just been the crappy teacher. Whoops. Ali Murphy says, I've been watching since the Proton Gen 2 setting car alarms off in the multi-storey car park. Thank you, cheers buddy, utterly sweet card, cheers buddy. I still have it, and I'm doing a sweet build in it as we speak. Which you probably know if you've been watching, so yeah. Coffee makes me poo too. Laxative ting. Black coffee and a small dose. How the hell can you diagnose a 6-year-old with ADHD? I know, right? This teacher was an absolute nightmare. She had no idea what was going on. Cocaine and coffee, yum. Yeah, Jessie says she drinks way too much coffee. Yeah, like, I'm not a massive drinker of hot drinks. Like, I know I know so many people that like friends of mine who literally live and rely and worship coffee, and they can't function in the day without having their coffee. I'm not one of those people. I'm not a massive hot drink drinker, you know. I'm not a massive drinker of hot drinks. I'll have a coffee very occasionally when I feel like I need to wake up a little bit more. Why have I got a screw that remains? Where's that come from? Ah, that's come from this side. Yeah, I'm not a massive coffee drinker. Or tea drinker. I'll have a hot chocolate. Oh my god, guys. Who here likes Nutella? Or however you pronounce it. Nutella? Who here likes Nutella? I'll give you a fantastic way of creating the most amazing hot chocolate you've ever had in your life. I think drugs in moderation are okay in moderation. Yeah, for sure. Like, do what makes you happy, man. But don't go crazy. Like, don't do anything that affects your life in a negative way. We went outside to play when I was a kid and came home when we were tired. I did a little bit of that when I was growing up. So I was 1991, so I was like a 90s kid, like early 2000s, like when I was in my teens. So I did a bit of both. I did quite a bit of playing outside, and also quite a bit of PlayStation 1 and Game Boy Color. And then when I got into my teens, we had MSN Messenger, which just completely changed the whole social circle, and was probably the start of like all the the MSN Messenger thing was like the birth of the kind of social connection thing we have nowadays with apps and Facebook and Snapchat and WhatsApp and all this other stuff. Like, I feel like MSN was the kind of birth of that, and my god, when I was a kid, MSN was the shit. It was amazing. I met so many people, I made girlfriends through MSN, I made friends, I went out. It was amazing. Why am I talking about MSN? How did I get onto this subject? What did I read in the live chat about MSN? Good night, Darth. Are you off, buddy? Thanks for tuning into the live stream, and I'll see you later. Jessie starts her day off at work with 2 XL coffees. Holy crap. Do you not need to keep going to the bathroom for like a wee like every flipping 10 minutes? Like coffee does that to me for sure. Do you not need to keep going for a pee every 5 minutes? Because that's definitely a thing with coffee. Every day? Every day? Right, so... Ah, shit, wait. I keep finding these screws. I keep finding... Ah, I think they're for the back. I think they're for the case. So where's all the rest of them then? I put something down on my bench, and it gets eaten by the bench. Where the... What was I talking about? Ah, yes, Nutella. Nutella hot chocolate. So, if you want to make an amazing Nutella hot chocolate, take yourself a mug, obviously, and put a good helping of Nutella into the mug. So, like 3 great big dinner spoons, like tablespoons worth of Nutella, into the mug. Like a fair, 2 or 3, like a decent amount of Nutella in the mug. And then, what you want to do is heat up some milk, like on the hob or in the microwave if you're that way inclined. And then, this is the important bit, this is how you make it smooth, okay? The Nutella is in the mug, so you want to just pour a splash of the hot milk in. Stir it up, okay? Get that Nutella a little bit more liquidy. And then, add another little bit of Nutella, little splash, stir it up, get it more liquidy, and keep adding the milk, and rather than adding it all in one go and trying to stir it in, the Nutella won't stir correctly into the milk if you add it all in one go. Got to do it a bit at a time. So you've got to turn the Nutella into a paste first, and then start adding more and more hot milk until it becomes this wonderful, milky, Nutella-infused goodness. It's amazing. And then you can obviously add your marshmallows and your chocolate sauce and your whipped cream and whatever else you want to put on your hot chocolate. And it's one of the best chocolate things I've ever tasted in my life. Good night to Darth Imitus. Wait, can you see all my dead amps in this picture? Yeah, you can. You can kind of see, like, you can kind of see my shelf here of, like, to-do list or mostly repaired. I've got a stack of old woofer baskets, and this needs to all go. This is the part of the workshop that I need to fix and like sort out. This is just a box of like wires, like old wires. I was like, man, I could keep that. Like that's gonna be useful at some point. Yeah, lots of stuff, lots of messy workshop shit that I need to get rid of. That I probably shouldn't show you because it's like a real mess. So let's put the back. Look at that. This has definitely been in the. Okay. So we need to put our bit of cardboard back in this amplifier over the capacitors to stop them from shorting out over the on the heatsink here. So put that back on there like that. Whoops. When I was in elementary school, they stuck me and a couple other kids in the special learning program because of our attention spans. All the kids in that group have gone into higher level education. That is very interesting. That is very interesting indeed. And it doesn't surprise me either. It's just a teacher's excuse because they don't know how to teach that specific child. It doesn't mean that they are not intelligent. It just means that they think in a different way to how the teacher wants them to think. And so they go. So rather than admitting that maybe they're not doing a great job of teaching that child, they say, this child has learning difficulties because they're not learning what I'm teaching them. Or maybe that's because you're not teaching them in the way that they need to be taught, because every child is different. And that's the problem with our education system, is that you're trying to create like kids that are all the same and teach them in all the same way, but in reality people are all different and they will learn things in different ways to one another. And so where the fuck did I put all the case screws for this amplifier? Can anybody remember back to me taking this amplifier apart and where the hell I put all the case screws? Because I would have put them on my workbench somewhere. But yeah, all kids are different, and they all will learn in different ways. Some more practical, some will learn from repetition, some will learn from writing and stuff. So you can't really say that this kid has learning difficulties. All it is that you have teaching difficulties, my friend. That's a big ass amp behind you. Yeah, I've got a big ass amp behind me. What woofer is under the shirt behind you? A DD9912 that needs some help. It needs some assistance. Oop. Tronic says, Sam, let me be your girlfriend. I met my stepsister before she became my stepsister through MSN. Wow, holy crap, that's wicked. I actually miss using MSN. You know what, Jesse? I am with you. I really miss using MSN as well. MSN was the absolute bomb. It was fantastic. I really miss using MSN a lot myself. I think my screw... Ah, here we go. Here we go. They're under my multimeter. I found the case screws under my multimeter. Oh my god, what year were you born, says Seth. I was born in the year 1991, so I am 26 years old. Which to me feels like a little bit old, because like it's the wrong side of 25. It's getting towards 30, but I know to a lot of people here in the stream, that's actually probably quite young. The problem is that I know a lot of people who have gone and created you know, really, really wealthy businesses by the age of like 23, 24. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta get my skates on. I've got to turn amp repair into some crazy... No, that's never gonna happen. You know what? I would be very happy keeping this business like something that brings me in enough money to be comfortable and to live and not have to worry too much about like doing nice things. But I don't really care that if this thing doesn't make me super rich or anything. I don't feel like I need to have a shit ton of money to be happy. I want to do what I love, and as long as it pays my bills, and as long as it allows me to enjoy my life and to be able to enjoy company with people, because I think that is the most important thing that you can do, is to enjoy the company of other people, and as long as my job pays enough for me to enjoy those things, then I will be happy and live a good life. Oh man, AOL dial-up. Yeah, I never had AOL, but I had friends that did use AOL, so I remember the icons. You should try Death Wish coffee. I'm not sure what that is, but my daughter was raised on Nutella. Now, I only discovered Nutella very recently, like within the last 5 years or something. Oh, it's covering the doors at the back. That's my Genesis 8 channel. I never get rid of shit because I will always find a use for it, says Seth. Exactly the same issue for me. I'm a hoarder of like random shit that and you know, the stupid thing is that whenever I have a clear out and I look at my stuff that I've kept and I'm like, nah, I'm never really going to use this, I chuck it out. 2 weeks later, I'm like, ugh, I need this thing, I need a thing that does this. I'm like, I have one somewhere, and I go, crap, I chucked it out 2 weeks ago. Always happens. So I don't chuck out a lot of things anymore, because it always happens that the thing I chuck out is the thing that I end up needing a couple of weeks later. It's like, what the fuck? Damn, you are young. Yeah, man. So, yeah, what have we got in the live chat here? We've got 1969. We've got, what else we got in here? I mean, you're having a lot of fun. Doing what you do is, enjoy is awesome. Yes, it is. Very important. Living in a third world country, being required to mine coal. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I thought you were around my age. I was born in 1980. Wow, holy crap. Really? So you thought I was 36? Really? I know there's a lack of grass on top here, but really? Fair enough. Right, girls and boys, babies, I'm going to sleep. Matt, that is a good plan, because you have stayed on far later than you should have done, my friend. You have got to get up at 6 in the morning. So good night, Matt, and have a good sleep. 1994 for Addy. Right, what the fuck am I doing? I'm chatting shit, and we haven't even moved on to amp number 4 yet. So the Orion D5000, I don't feel like I need to bench test it like for the to ensure that it works well, because it has all the original parts in it. All we did was change a switch on the preamplifier section. So I'll bench this at another point, and I'll make a separate video. I'm not going to bother doing it on live stream because I've got to hook up my power supply, and that'll take ages. So we're going to move on to amplifier number 4 now, in the hope that we can continue our winning streak with these amplifier repairs. Ali, 1991 represent. Yeah, boy! 1991. What's going on? What's going on with 1991? Okay, so I'm going to put this amplifier down somewhere where there's a space. Oh man, this is a flipping mess in here, I'll tell you. There's a flipping mess in here. Right, what have we got over here? Oh, I know. What else we got? So we've got, I'm not going to work on that bander anymore, because that bander can fuck right off. That bander is not for tonight. That bander is not for tonight. So I said I was going to work on something that I own myself, but I think I've fixed everything that I own myself. Let's have a look. What do we got? What do we got? Hyphonics, I'm waiting for 4080, HIP 4080 chips, so I can't fix that just now. What else do we have? A couple of 4-channel Class ABs. Okay, I know what we're going to do. We're going to look at a DC Audio 9K. Yeah, this is a big amplifier. This is not this. This is a this is something else. This is a Beats Audio Beat box that I'm repairing for a friend. Let's get this bad boy out of here. Oh yeah. Okay. Whew. She's a big one. Incoming. Incoming. Bosh. Right. Okay. So yes, this is a DC Audio 9K, and you can see the size of this thing already, probably. Did I bench the Rockford? No, I didn't bench the Rockford. Should I bench the Rockford? Maybe I'll do a bench test video. Maybe I'll do a bench test live stream tomorrow where I bench both the Rockford and the Orion and see what they do. Video idea, day in the life of Bearvids. That's pretty much this live stream. Honestly, it's pretty much this live stream. This is day in the life of Bearvids right here. This is what I do, get up to. Apart from eating toast. And what else do I eat? Toast, I eat soup. I snack a lot on chocolate. I drink wine. I go to raves. DC Audio 9K, yes. Can see the submagnet affect the amp. Can the submagnet affect the amp in any way if the amp is right under the sub motor? So the only parts in the amp that would be affected by magnetic force would possibly be the inductors. Yes, the inductors would be affected by that. But what effect they would actually have on the amplifier's operation, I don't know. I don't think it would affect it to the point where it would be an issue. But it would affect the inductors and possibly the transformers to some effect, but nothing that would cause any issues, I don't think. So this amp is very big, so I need to clear a little bit of space on my workbench here. Because my workbench is very minimal in size, and I need to sort that out at some point. But that point is not today. I was going to go to sleep too, but oh boy, that 9K, yeah, that 9K. Fixing amps, toast, soup, chocolate, wine and raves. That's me. That's me in a nutshell. There's a sticker on the back of this amplifier that says not faulty. Okay. So why is it here then? Oh man, yeah, she's a big one. Ah, Jesus. Okay. Let's have a look at the front of this amplifier. Do you still have the RE-XXX subs? No man, I sold those years ago, sadly. I kind of wish I didn't sell them now, because there's few and far between. Oh, what's this chip on the floor? That looks like an old IRS 21844S, let's get rid of that. So let's have a look at this amplifier in all its glory. I do need another desk. I need many things, my friend. I need many things. Oh yeah. Amp number 4. Amp number 4 indeed. And this one has been sellotaped up, which is never a good sign because it means that somebody else has bloody well been in it before me. I have 2 with PSI recones. Oh wow, nice. I was wanting to put some Digital Designs ESP recones on the on some RE-XXX V3s at some point. So there's definitely a sign on this amplifier here that says not faulty. Cool. Oh man, this camera sucks. Not faulty, not faulty. Well, that's a lie. That's definitely a lie because I see fire. I see fire. I see a blown power supply section here. I spy a blown power supply section. So this is the first time that I'm looking into this amplifier with you guys. So you're seeing this for the first time with me. Conmigo. Conmigo. Scrap bop bop. Okay, let's get this up in here. So as we can see, this is a pretty good amplifier. Oh man, are you fucking kidding me? It's missing its driver board, and the driver board has been snapped off by whoever the flipping hell gave this a go last. Oh man, look at this, look at this. So this is the output section here. Yeah. So this is where the driver board is supposed to go. I think, just as luck would have it, I think I may have some spare driver boards for this. So let's have a look. So, what's this? Da, 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 da. I have a driver board here, and does it fit? Yes, it does. So I do have some spare driver boards for this amplifier. What would happen if I didn't, eh? I have to fucking sort something out. So yeah, this amplifier definitely has smoked up in some nasty ass way. Oh man. More power supply and output failures. And the fact that the driver board is cut off here means I know who looked at this before. So I'm not too looking forward to this one because I know who looked at it before me, because there's only one person here in the UK that cuts driver boards off like that. How many watts is that amp? This amplifier is 9,000 watts RMS at least. On a bad day. This amplifier is very powerful. And this is one of those annoying amplifiers where the Allen keys don't fit in the clamps. That's annoying as well. So this amplifier has already pissed me off twice. One time because the driver board is missing, and another time because Allen keys don't fit the clamps. Sam, have you ever heard of any Team 4-inch coil subs by FI yet? Yes, I have. I have seen them and I've heard them, and I have reconed them as well. Okay, so we need a slightly bigger bit than that. How did you get started with amp repairs and learning the electronics? What I did is I bought some blown amplifiers from my friends and from eBay, and I bought the amplifier repair guide from bcae1.com, and I played with the amps until they worked. I learned from my mistakes. I kept learning and kept trying and kept fixing until one day I got good enough to think, you know what, let's start fixing these for other people, or you know, let's give this a go. Let's give this a go to make money with. Oh man, this is gonna be a. I really hate these clips, but I hate it even more when the Allen keys don't fit in the. Everything about this amp right now is telling me to say fuck this and move on to something else just for now. Everything about this is just telling me to say fuck this and move on to something else just now, just because it's like 3:30 in the morning. It looks like someone had a campfire in there. Yeah, man. This is toasty as fuck. So alright, I can't be bothered to get the clips off just now because that requires some kind of effort, and I need to make a special tool with an Allen key and a grinder, which I'm not doing at 3:30 in the morning. So let's have a look with the top off then. Let's have a look with the top off what's wrong with this amplifier. So quite clearly we've got a blown power supply here because we have black and stuff in the power supply. So it's quite obvious that the power supply has failed. So we can use visual inspection to see have any of the drivers failed in a similar way. So the drivers usually get a little bump on them when they die. So it doesn't look like any of the drivers have any visual damage, but they could be damaged internally. So this amplifier obviously has quite a lot of power supply FETs. So we've got all these power supply FETs all up here, all these power supply FETs all up here, until we get to here. So at this point, we'd have just power supply FETs all along here, and then these are the diode, the rectifiers. So we've got a lot of power supply FETs, and these are all driven by drivers which are in the middle of the board here. So these are the drivers. So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16 drivers driving this power supply, which means that we will have 8 banks. So the drivers work in pairs. So we have a PNP and an NPN. So the fact we've got 16 drivers means we've got 8 banks of power supply FETs here. So they all need to be changed. They all need to be changed. There's another few drivers sitting here actually in the middle of the board here. I wonder if we've got even more banks than I realise. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. No way. I wonder if we've got more banks than I realise. That's crazy if we do. Okay, that's a lot of drivers. That's a lot of drivers. And this board comes apart in the middle in the same way as the LANs are, and also in the same way as the Ground Zero 10K HC. It has screws and it has some headers here, but it will be soldered as well, so the board won't come apart too easily. So it kind of makes that a bit pointless for this purpose. No, actually, I can remove the output FET clamps because they actually have a bit of space in the hole. Ouch! God damn it! One of the most interesting things I was looking at with this amplifier is what FETs it uses in the output. So much work to do. PS FETs, output FETs, caps, driver board. So far, the amount of work that we've racked up on this amplifier is power supply FETs, power supply drivers. That's what we've racked up so far in our to-do list. That's obvious that's wrong with this amplifier. Power supply FETs and power supply drivers. That's our obvious things that are dead with this. What? Oh wow. Okay. So next in our list is output section, because that's obviously exploded. Damn it. That one's also exploded, as you can quite clearly see. The question is, why did the power supply fail? Well, the power supply failed because this happened. So when this happens, it usually kills the power supply because the protection circuits aren't actually quick enough to prevent that. To prevent the chain of damage from going down the board. And output sections can fail for a whole number of reasons. Sometimes they can fail just because the voltage regulators fail, because they do over time. The voltage regulators are situated over here. Oh, I can get these off. So voltage regulators are situated over here. They're the small TO220 package things over here. And they will be supplying the driver board, which is meant to be here, which is missing, with the small voltages like plus and minus 15 volts, plus minus 5 volts, and the 12 volts, which is referenced from the rail voltages. And those voltages will be used by the driver board. Now, if any of those voltage regulators die, then what happens is the driver board will then, for a very short amount of time, send completely the wrong drive to one or more banks of these output FETs. And as a result of sending the wrong drive to these output FETs, it will probably blow one of the banks. And by blowing one of the banks, the FETs will short, and then it will send rail voltage to the gates of all the other banks. So then you might have the other banks die as well. And because there's now a short circuit on the output section, the power supply now is trying to drive a short circuit. And the protection circuit isn't usually quick enough to kick in fast enough to prevent the power supply from being overloaded by trying to drive a short circuit. So this amp is going to be a flipping headache, isn't it? Oh, look, and we're also missing, by the looks of things, we're also missing a small transistor here. See this Q52? So we're missing a small transistor there, and because it's missing, we don't know what value it's supposed to be. However, fortunately, I have done some repairs on similar amplifiers, and so I know that that will probably, a transistor that goes in there that will work is probably going to be a BD139, which I happen to have in my drawer over here. So that's probably going to fix that to start with. There's some diodes here which appear to be missing, but I believe that they are not actually meant to be included in this board design. Sometimes that happens. You see things on the board that aren't actually there, and it means that they're not required in this circuit. However, the manufacturers put this amplifier together, so we can leave those out. So yeah, wow. So we need to do a few things. So our to-do list on this amplifier is now power supply drivers, whole output section, because I don't trust any of this output section with that kind of damage, whole output section FETs, check all of the voltage regulators, these two, and there's another two over here which are clamped to this side of the board over here. Let's take these ones off. Another two over here, so check those for shorts, make sure that they're providing decent voltage to the output section. And then we need to fit a new driver board, and I just luckily enough happen to have some spare driver boards, although I need to populate them. You can see that these boards aren't populated, they're missing some of the driver ICs. Some of these are also missing some of these Zener diodes and capacitors, so I need to populate these boards fully. And then I should be able to drop one of those spare boards in there. So that amplifier is very dead. Oops. So that's probably not one for me to work on just now at 3:30 AM in the morning. So let's put that one back temporarily. Looks like somebody used that amps as part of a source because it was so blown. Yeah, man. I really don't get why DC Audio overprices their shit so ridiculously like DD. I agree. Yeah, it is massively overpriced. This amplifier board is no different to the likes of Lanza. Like, literally, it's the same circuit. It's exactly the same. Or, you know, any other cheap, any other board that's this size will generally be the same circuit. You'll probably start to notice, the more of my videos you watch, you'll start to realise how similar these boards look. And they are all the same circuit. This all the same shit, just with a different badge on the front. It's literally all the same shit. The only differences that you'll have differences in build quality. So, you know, these transformers will be seated down better. Maybe they'll have thicker copper on them, perhaps. Maybe the actual board itself will be made with thicker traces or something. Or you'll have, you know, higher quality inductors, and, you know, you have more of these relays. So there's more current path for the speaker terminals. Just, you know, all the circuits are generally the same, but they're just a little bit beefed up from one another. So the note said it worked. Yes, the note did say it worked. So yeah, go figure on that one. This is going to be a very expensive repair. This is probably going to be around £300 in the UK to repair, at least, depending on what else we find. This is going to be an expensive repair. Korean boards are copies with very minor differences. Yep. All the same. Makes me laugh when companies are like, oh yes, our amplifiers are so much better than this other brand, and you open them and it's the same board. It's the same thing, my man. But I'm glad I opened this one up tonight, because I needed to know whether this amplifier used 24N40s or whether it used 24N50s. And so now I know it uses 24N40s. So I can now order what I need to order for a few other bits and pieces, because I needed to know what that used. And so how many of those do I need? I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I need 32 of those. I might actually load this up with the same FETs that we used in the Atomic, because these FETs appear to be slightly better. So in the Atomic, I actually loaded this up with IRFP 360LC, which are a little bit better than the 24N40F. And I already have a few of these spare. So I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I already have 26 of these. So I could technically just buy a few more of these. Damn, how many more do I need of these? Yeah, so I need a few more of these, just a small few more of these, and make sure we get a similar batch, and then I can just use these in this amplifier because I already have them, so that won't owe me much more. I've been watching this channel since I was 13, holy crap, says Big Joe. That's crazy, that's a long time. How old are you now, Big Joe? $417, not bad on a repair on that amp in the US. But maybe I should charge a bit more. Who knows? The customer that this belongs to has given me 3 big amplifiers to repair. This same customer has given me the DC Audio 9K. He's given me the Vibe Reaper that we worked on my previous video, and he's also given me a Ground Zero 10K. So 3 great big amplifiers. So he's going to owe me quite a lot of money by the end of it. Not faulty. Not faulty. Yeah, bullshit, not faulty. What's the cost of amp new 2K? Around about £300 in the UK, maybe? 350 for a good one, maybe? I don't know. Depends what you buy, depends what brand you buy, where you buy it from. Oh, holy crap, it snowed a lot more now, yeah. So over here in the UK we had a bit of snow today, but it's actually snowed a lot more just now, overnight. It's a shame I can't take my cameras outside to show you because it's beautiful. We've got a lovely little bit of snow going on at the moment. Hey Sam, what's a noise violation ticket cost these days? Don't know, I've never got one. I think in the UK you get a section 52, but I can't remember what that consists of. So I've never got one. Because I ain't loud. What do we got here then? What do we got here? This is a, oh, this is a fucking mess again. This customer, man. This one customer, man. This is the Ground Zero 10K that I was talking about just now. The same customer as that DC 9K. Okay. So this is obviously the end plates for the amplifier. So this is an early Ground Zero 10K, and it's called a 10K, but it only actually does 10K at like 18 volts. It's more like a 8.8K. So what's wrong with this? So what's wrong with this? What's right with this? Look, we've got more FETs that look like this. We've got more FETs that look like that. So yeah, that is that part of the output section? Yeah, that's part of the output section. So we've got clearly blown output section here. This is going to be the clamps in here. So again, this is a very similar circuit to the DC 9K. Just a slightly different board size. Oh, pardon me. So the same power supply FETs, the same power supply drive transistors over here, the same drive transistors, the same TL494. The same rectifier diodes for the small voltages, the same KA712s over here. And what are these output FETs, I wonder? What are these output FETs? Oh, these are something a little bit different. As again, these are IRFP 460LC. So this amplifier we could use 24N50. And we might get away with using 24N50, but it's a slightly lower voltage FET, so this might not be 18 volt stable if we use the 24N50s. We could also possibly use the same ones that were going in the Atomic 7K. Did the power supply die in this one? The power supply doesn't look like crispy toasted like the other one did. So maybe the power supply in this one's alright. I mean the output section definitely blew. Like that FET has like no legs left either. So let's just take a look with our multimeter. I'm intrigued to see whether the power supply section in this one blew. The brand of these caps are, what are these? What the hell? Leyland? Looks like it's Leyland. Lelon by the looks of it. Leyland. Okay. So let's have a look then. So let's put our multimeter probes on the power supply plus and minus, and let's see whether we have a short circuit on the power supply plus and minus. Ah, hallelujah! Wait, hang on a minute. It seems that this amplifier, the power supply, potentially has survived. So we don't have a short circuit on our power terminals, which means that none of the power supply MOSFETs are shorted between drain and source. So it's possible that the power supply section in this amplifier did not die, or doesn't look like the power supply section in this amplifier died. Okay, so that's half of the amplifier that we haven't got to fix. So in this one we just need to work on the output section. Something very interesting about this amplifier is the driver board, because this amplifier uses a driver board that not many other amplifiers use. It's the same circuit, but it's like the problem with these driver boards is you've got to have one that fits in the holes. You see? So this amplifier uses a driver board that looks like so. So it uses two IRS 21844S driver chips, which are scratched off. It uses a pair of 074C OP amps, which I know, and this top one's probably a LM211 or LM311. We've got some 2D transistors over here, A92 transistors. So this driver board is no different to the driver boards in a lot of these amplifiers, apart from the fact that it's a different fucking form factor. It's like a really tall, short, stubby driver board, and so these are less common. And I've got, so this amplifier, this 10K, I've actually got another one of these that I own, that belongs to me. I bought it in a blown state, but it's missing the flipping driver board, and so obviously I need to source a replacement driver board. I either source a replacement driver board or I build my own driver board, and I can use this one to copy. I can use this one to copy this driver board and build my own driver board for the other amplifier. Either that, or try and use a driver board that I already have existing in my drawer, not this one, maybe one that contains two of the IRS 21844S, and you know, try and make it work, try and hotwire it into an amplifier to get it to work. So that's that. Bevis, could you rewind the PS transformers for more voltage so it put more power? Yes, you can, my friend. That's one of the things I'm going to do in my video, where I take a cheap amplifier and I try and force it to do a shit ton of power. So one of the things that we can do is we can rewind the transformers so that it outputs a higher voltage, which will cause the amplifier to do more power, as long as the capacitors and the MOSFETs and the regulation circuit is all happy with the higher voltage that the transformers are putting out. So yes, possibly we can do that. Oh shit! Yeah, one cap looks naked. Look at that. One of these caps is legit. Like, has got no plastic on it. It doesn't mean that it's blown because it's not vented. So I wonder who the fuck cut all the plastic off of that. I mean, what the fuck? One of the problems with having a high output system like that is finding somewhere to turn up the volume. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So we've got some big amps here to work on. So that means I need to order a fuckload of 24N40Fs. I'm just going to make a quick note of what FETs this uses real quick. I'm going to just have a quick look on here. Let's compare some FET specs on Google. So here, these ones use IRFP 460LC. IRFP 460LC. Let's just quickly compare that to the FETs which I got for the Atomic 7K, which I thought were quite good. So the ones I got for the Atomic are the 360LC. So the 360 and the 460 LC are probably going to be the equivalents of the 24 and 40 F24N40 and the 24N50. So if I do IRFP 360 LC, that's probably going to be a lower voltage version of the the 4 one. Let's also bring up FDA 24N40F, which I've got a few of, and let's also bring up FDA 24N50. Whoops. Okay, so the 460, yeah, this is what I thought. See, we've got the 500 volt version here and the 400 volt version here, which is exactly the same as the 400 volt version here, which is the 24N40F 400 volt FET, and the 50, which is a 500 volt FET. So they're pretty much the same FETs, just slightly different voltage readings. What the fuck? Why have I... sorry, every time I press a number my screen changes. Okay, let's have a look at this. So yeah, let's have a quick look at some of these FETs then. Why not? Let's have a look at some of these FETs. So we've got 4 FETs up here on my data sheets. 4 different FETs. Now, these FETs are basically equivalents of one another. So they're very similar specifications. So we've got IRFP 460 LC is pretty much equivalent to FDA 24N50. They will both work in each other's amplifiers. The same goes for this one, IRFP 360 LC, so the only difference there being the 360 rather than the 460, will work in amplifiers using FDA 24N40F because they are both the same type of FET, they're the same voltage ratings, and they'll probably have very similar gate charge and input capacitance, etc. So let's see, which ones are better though? Which ones are better? Which ones should we really be using? So if we have a look down here at the specs of these, let's have a look at the... So we have 400 volts obviously on the 40F. The drain current, which is how much current this thing will take. So continuous at 25 degrees, we've got 23 amps, but only 13.8 when it gets hot. Let's compare that to this one. So continuous drain current is the same, and it's pretty much exactly the same when it gets hot. So 23 and 14 is pretty much the same as 23 and 13.8. Now the pulse drain current is something we need to look at because these FETs obviously work on a switching frequency. So the pulse drain current does take into effect a little bit when this amplifier is being used because the FETs are running pulses. So the pulse drain current is 91 amps on our 360. On our 24N40F, what do we have? 92. So again, extremely similar. Not much difference there at all. So in terms of how much power these will do, they're probably very similar. Now we do have a total power dissipation. So we've got 235 watts at 25 degrees on the 40F. On the 360, we have 280. So it's a little bit higher on the 360, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be any better in our amplifier because it depends at what point it does that power. So we need to have a look at the graphs to work out at what point it does the more power. And it's kind of too late in the evening for me to be taking any of this shit in because it's 4 AM, so I'm going to skip over that for this evening. But another thing we want to look at is how easy are these FETs to drive by the drive circuit. So these FETs will have a few characteristics here in the electronic characteristics which we should look at. And that is the input capacitance here is quite important, and the total gate charge, which is this one. Total gate charge at 10 volts, QG total. So the input capacitance, obviously these FETs are they are a semiconductor, and they will have a very small capacitance on the gate. So when the drive circuit goes to charge this capacitor, the drive circuit will see a very small capacitance as it tries to turn this FET on. So this is the capacitance that it will see. So we've got 20, let me just check I'm on the right screen here, yeah, 2280 as the typical gate capacitance for the 40F. Now the lower this number, the better, because the easier it will be to drive. So if we're any lower than 2280, let's have a look on our different FETs over here. So we're a little bit higher with our input capacitance on the 360. So it'll be a tiny bit more difficult to drive. Some different pull-down resistors perhaps need to be used, etc. But they're very close. Look at how close that is. 2280, 3400. That's very close. You're not going to notice the difference there. Total gate charge is how much charge this FET needs in order to be turned on. So that also varies how easy this FET is to drive. So we've got 110 NC there with our total gate charge. So let's have a look at our 40F. Total gate charge is typical is 46. So yeah, so it looks like our 24N40F is actually quite a lot easier to charge than this other FET over here. Interesting. So why didn't I get 24N40Fs for the atomic? Weird. Okay, never mind. Can't remember why I got the other ones for the atomic, because the 24N40F seem to be a slightly better option here, because they're pretty much the same power, they're the same voltage, the same current handling, etc, 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 but the 24N40s are just a tad easier to drive. So does that bode the same with the 500 volt versions? So the 500 volt versions are the wait a minute. Yeah, so the 500 volt versions are the 24N50 versus the 460. So I'm just going to skip through this very quickly. So we've got current 24 and 14, and on the other one we've got 20 and 12. Okay, so that's a bit less. That's a bit less. So the 50 has the advantage here very quickly. So the pulse drain current is 80 on the new ones. The 50s, it is 96. So again, the 50 has the advantage here. Let's look at the how easy this thing is to drive. Input capacitance of the 50 is typical 3120. Typical of the 460 is a little bit higher again, but pretty much the same. But still, the 50 has the advantage. Total gate charge at 10 volts. We have typical of 65, and let's have a look at this one. Typical gate charge of 120. So again, the 50 has the advantage. So the better FETs for this amplifier are the 24N50s. So this ground zero here, which is currently using the 640s, I think. Yep, it's currently using 640s. We're going to go ahead and buy a whole bunch of 24N50s because that will work a lot better. It'll just be easier to drive, slightly better current handling, etc., etc. My voice hurts now. Okay, so I'm not going to bother doing any more repairs this evening because it's 4 AM and man needs to sleep. So we're going to say bye-bye and good night to this amplifier, and we'll tackle this one another day once I've ordered some new FETs for this bad boy. Let's put all of these things back in there. So we repaired 3 amplifiers today, which was good. Ah, now guys, just before I leave, put that driver board in your amp and then give it to the customer. Fix this amp later, get cash now. Yes, but the amplifier that I own actually is in a worse state than this one. It has a blown power supply section as well, so this amplifier is actually a bit easier to repair than my blown one. So it's actually easier for me to repair his own one rather than give him my one. Just before I go, does anybody want to see me bench the Rockford from earlier? Because I could do that quickly before I go, that wouldn't take too long. So we can put this Rockford 4 channel on the bench and see what it makes that I repaired earlier. Actually, no, we can't do that yet because this amplifier was missing some some clamps. Now I just want to quickly see if I've got any spare clamps. Now this one I got given this amplifier for free because it was very dead and it caught fire. So I'm just going to see. See, I don't think I have any spare clamps for these MOSFETs. I'm going to check my donor amp drawer to see whether I've got any donor amps that the screws will fit and the clamps will fit. I should have a nice big bag somewhere full of clamps because I made a nice bag at one point. Now where did I put that? I made a nice bag full of all these old clamps and stuff. Where the fuck? You know when you put something somewhere safe? You know, you put something somewhere safe and you're like, right, that's where I'm going to put that, so I can use that at some point. And then you can't never remember where you flipping put where the safe bit was that you put the stuff, the thing. So I made a massive bag like this, you know, a bag full of all these amplifier clamps for the MOSFETs. from my donor pile, but can I find where I put it? Nope. Can I find where I put the bag? Nope. It will turn up at some point, so we can't bench the Rockford tonight. Sad times. Sad times. Okay, so we can't bench that tonight, but I'll bench that another night once I find my bag of donor clamps, which will probably be in a week's time. So yeah, until then guys, thank you very much for staying with me on this long ass live stream. How long has this one gone on for? This one has been, it's not as long as some other ones. This one's been a 3-hour live stream, but we also had a long live stream earlier this evening, so thank you very much for sticking with me to the end. We've had a great fucking chat on the live stream this evening. My god, we've had some lovely chats. Some really funny shit going on. I've had a few beers, so I am in a good mood. So I feel very accomplished this evening, and I hope you've had a good time as well watching the live stream, learning a little bit about amplifier repair, and chatting some shit in the comments. It has been a good one this evening. Appreciate your time, Sam. Cheers, buddy. Love hearing you rant. Was I ranting? Thanks, Dylan. Thank you very much, buddy. Just sharing what I know and love. Jesse says, no problem. Nice to see you and watch your vids and learn. Thank you very much, Jesse. I always love having you on the stream. So yeah, you guys all have a good evening and get a good night's sleep, and I will see you all in the next live stream. Take it easy.